Come into Osh this weekend and we'll pay the sales tax on your purchase. How's that for a tip? Osh.
Last year it was number 1 De La Salle beating number 2 Poly in Long Beach. This time we play in the Bay at Memorial Stadium on campus at Cal in Berkeley. Jim Watson along with John Jackson and Mike Lamb. And for more on today's game, we go down to the sideline. Lindsay Soto walking the chalk.
Waddy, the D-line is not Poly's only defensive weapon. Strong safety Freddie Parrish is amongst the best in the entire country. In fact, preseason polls had him ranked number 1 in the West, which is interesting since he hardly played last year. He was the backup to All-American Darnell Bing, played sparingly, finished with 17 tackles, which was apparently enough to show the college recruiters his speed and overall athleticism, earned himself a scholarship to Notre Dame. Told me earlier in the week he didn't play that much in this game last year, but he played enough to know what it's like to play against this team, and unfortunately, what it's like to lose to them.
You know, you can't even explain it, you know, kind of feel like your best friend, your dog just died or something, you know, you just felt like really feel like they took our hearts, and that's all I could really say. You know, we came out there. There's a certain point in the game where, you know, I think Drew scored his last time or whatever, and it kind of was just like, you know, they took it from us.
Says he's out for Drew today. Made up a song about him even this week that he's been singing as he walks around campus. And if you look at the back of his pads, here's Maurice Drew's picture, along with a message, Maurice Drew who? It's a message he'll have to back up on the field, but he says he's ready. It's not the only good defensive back in the game today. For more on the De La Salle sideline, here's Sean Farnham.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. You know, De La Salle has an outstanding defensive backfield as well, and this group is led by their senior, number 25, Damon Jenkins. He's 5'11", 175 pounds. Check out this hit. He's a very physical cornerback. This hit right here against St. Louis 2 weeks ago is absolutely amazing. He caused the fumble, big plays, and that's what De La Salle expects out of him here today against Long Beach Poly. He's also a speedster with 4.40 speed. He's going to need all of that speed to make sure he keeps up with Derek Jones, the fastest wide receiver in the state as far as I'm concerned for Long Beach Poly. Big plays are what Coach Lattiser is going to look for from this group, and that's what he's expected over the last 129 games of the streak. Back to you in the booth, Waddy.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Lindsay as well. Bob Lattiser, his 23rd season. Highest winning percentage of any coach ever in high school football, over 95% of his games. On the other side, well, they're polar opposites of one another. Raul Lara, although he's been on the sideline at Poly for a long time, just in his 2nd season as the head coach for the Jackrabbits, he has lost 1 game as the head coach last year to De La Salle. De La Salle won the toss and elects to receive Long Beach Poly in their traveling whites. They went to Hawaii, and now they are in the Bay Area trying to pursue the number 1 ranking. They will kick it to Maurice Drew. He is the most dangerous man in the building. He takes it at the 5, and Drew out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Chris Jackson, the tackle for Long Beach Poly. The quarterback for De La Salle, Brett Cecil. Remember last year, of course, Brett Cecil played in this game, but he was just the long snapper. So he didn't take any snaps last year as the quarterback. In fact, he's only thrown about 17 passes this year for De La Salle. They don't put a lot of pressure on him, but Bob Lattiser says that Brett Cecil will have to have a big game for the Spartans today. First down at the 27-yard line. It's Drew on a little counter. Long Beach Poly is right there. Give him maybe a yard, and then he's pushed back. Take a look at the offensive line for De La Salle. Brett Cecil, of course, told you he didn't take any snaps last year. The offensive line giving away a lot of size to the Poly front four. Eric Sandy's 2nd team All-State. Drew, we've talked about him, of course, but we're impressed with Gino Ottoboni as well. Fitzgerald played in last year's game, and he is a burner. Make it 2nd down and 8 as they give Drew 2 on 1st down. This time it is Ottoboni, and he is stacked up right away. Nothing, maybe to the 30-yard line.
Mark Washington with a nice bit of penetration, and I think that that's what you'll see a lot from Poly today. They are ready to gamble because they feel as though De La Salle has got to run the ball. They don't think that they have the most effective quarterback, so they'll try a lot of stunts in the line and keep a lot of men at the line of scrimmage.
First big third down for De La Salle. And remember that Brett Cecil has not thrown a lot of balls. They like to go deep, and they do. That ball is caught by Cameron Colvin, a first down across the 45 to the 48-yard line. Guys, we were at practice, and they told us that Brett Cecil maybe has trouble with the intermediate passes, but he got a strong arm downfield.
Yeah, Jim, and that's what he displayed right there, and that's the plays that Brett Cecil's going to have to make. Long Beach Poly's going to give him those intermediate routes. They don't want him to go deep, and they're going to try to take away the short passing game, so those passes to Colvin should be there all day.
Going to have to take some shots just to keep them honest, because Poly has it in their mind. They want to stop the run first and foremost.
So now De La Salle is going to go trips to the right side. DeMonte Fitzgerald is in the slot. The only guy behind Cecil, the only guy he needs, Maurice Drew. Deep handoff to Drew. Drew avoids the first man. He'll make you miss. And Drew all the way to the 35-yard line. Freddie Parrish finally ran him out.
And Jim, that's where the Long Beach Poly defense is going to have to stay disciplined. They're going to have to stay in their run lanes to try to stop Drew. If they allow him to bounce outside, it's going to be a long day.
You see Bob Ladesor, what they're trying to do there. They're trying to use a formation, spread it out a little bit. Trips on the right side, another receiver out on the left side, and only the single back. Try to spread it out and give Maurice Drew some running lanes, because obviously he's so gifted physically. If you give him a little bit of a seam, he's going to take off.
Drew averaging over 8 yards a carry this year. It is first down at the 35-yard line. Remember, De La Salle scored on their first drive a year ago. Maurice Drew went in on a flip to the 30-yard line, and a flag comes in. It was Gino Ottoboni. Mark Washington, the linebacker for Poly, the guy who got to him. It's a face mask on the Jackrabbits. You know, Mike, you were there last year with this game, and I think the thing about Long Beach Poly is they came out a little apprehensive. They were waiting for something to happen in that game, and it was a different type of approach.
Face mask, 15 yards, first down.
And the last thing that you want to do when you're a group that is very gifted physically is be tentative, as you said, and it was like they were trying to see what the mystique was of De La Salle. Hopefully, for Poly, they feel that maybe that mystique is gone and they can just play a football game against a regular football team.
Penalty moves it to the 15-yard line. Again, it's a first down for the Spartans. Inside trap, spinning, still on his feet, Maurice Drew! He is down at the 1-yard line.
Oh, Jim, and you can see why Maurice Drew is so electric. One man can't bring him down, and when you hit him, you have to wrap him up and tackle him. You cannot arm tackle him. You cannot come in with a shoulder shot. Now watch Long Beach Poly. Their defense is going to be in position to make this play. Inside trap to Drew. Right there, you have him stop. No, you don't. Then he spins off a hit by Parrish in the secondary, and he almost takes this into the end zone. Maurice Drew, you have to wrap him up, Jim. You have to wrap him up defensively. He's an explosive runner.
Quarterback sneak by Cecil, had a touchdown on the ground last week. The officials look right at each other. They're on the goal line. And it's a touchdown. De La Salle improves on their state record, 274 straight games without being shut out. And just like last year, they score on their opening drive.
And nothing fancy when you look at the Spartans on film. They did the same thing that they did last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. They're not trying to fool anybody. They just do a few things very well.
Tony Benswanger, the extra point. Bends one through. He's got a big leg. He can hit from midfield. Didn't need it on the PAT. And De La Salle with a big opening drive. They go 72 yards. And Poly hasn't touched the ball, and just like last year, they find themselves down 7-0. Remember last year it was Maurice Drew going into the end zone on the flip. We talked with him at practice. I said, we're going to see another flip this year? And Drew said, I don't think so, but I am wearing a Superman shirt underneath my pads today.
Well, Superman, Mighty Mouse, whatever type of superhero you want to think of, Raul Laura has seen enough of him. Last year, it was a surprise. Nobody knew about Maurice Drew until Game 4 when Poly got hooked up with De La Salle. Now this year, Raul Laura has talked about Drew every waking minute with his family and every moment that he's been with his football team.
We talked with Brett Cecil at practice yesterday, and this is a young man who understands. You know, he had to sit behind Matt Gutierrez for 3 years, and this is his time. And when I spoke with him yesterday, I said, what do you expect? And he said, look, I know my system. I understand my offense. My job is to distribute the ball to the playmakers.
Yeah, and Coach Lattisaur said it's really a unique situation that Cecil's in. Most cases at De La Salle, they like to get their backup quarterback some reps. Last year, he could not afford that. Gutierrez, of course, the starter, and Kavanaugh the backup. So Cecil comes in with not much game experience, little if any. So it's very important for him to come in, show poise and maturity like he did on that drive.
Derek Jones and Rodney Vanner back deep for Long Beach Poly. Both of them can fly, but Tony Binswanger puts most of his kickoffs deep in the end zone. This time he's going to skip this ball short. Takes a wicked bounce. Man across the 20 to the 22-yard line, so we didn't expect that. We thought he put it out. Now they say there's a fumble. De La Salle says they have it. Now this would be just critical. And Poly holds on.
Last year's game, De La Salle got that 2-touchdown lead, and I don't think that Poly was ever really able to recover from that. So if they turned the ball over down there deep in their own territory, it would have been a real problem for Poly.
Leon Jackson is the senior quarterback, and we like this kid. His maturity, his poise. He's a lefty, throws very well on the run, and the Poly coaching staff tells us this guy could be the difference maker. Offensive line huge, 6'4", 285 across. Hercules Satelli, 3-year starter. Washington State is looking at him. Lorenzo Bersi has gone for 1,500 yards, but that was last year at Beverly Hills High School. Now he's a transfer here at Poly and playing in the biggest game of his life. Dwayne Washington on first down. Take a look at De La Salle defensively. Terry Edson is the defensive coordinator. All 4 guys up front from last year gone, so look for a rotation possibly of as many as 8 guys. Maurice Drew also plays linebacker. Remember, he was the offensive hero last year. Parker Hanks, Terrence Kelly are the tight ends. They'll go both ways. The secondary is the strength of the D. Could be the best in school history. Damon Jenkins, a rare 3-year starter. All-State as a sophomore and a junior. Give Poly 1 yard on first down. And maybe just a couple on second down. Terrence Kelly the hit for De La Salle.
Jim, if you're Merle Cole, the offensive coordinator for Long Beach Poly, you want to try to impose your will on this De La Salle front 4. Long Beach Poly averages 6'4", 285 across the front, with De La Salle only 6', 225. Mike, that's a huge advantage.
Well, it is an advantage, but it's not an advantage until later in the game. When everybody's fresh, it's okay. You've got to be willing to punt the ball by running a lot and not wanting everything in the first quarter.
Leon Jackson, the quarterback, can run it as well, and now we're going to see his arm. Stretching the defense, got him in. He's 1 for 1 across midfield. Alex Watson.
And Jim, that's what Leon Jackson at his best. Leon Jackson's a mobile quarterback, can move the pocket and throw on the run. Jim, this is an outstanding throw. Watch the play fake, and then you half roll. You've been running the ball, so that's going to give you time to throw, and then look at this, a strike right on the money. That's how you get your offense rolling.
And we talked about him being the difference maker. It's because not only does he throw the ball with great accuracy, but he really, really understands and has a great grasp of this offense.
Derek Jones, top of your screen. Alex Watson at the bottom. Poly goes on the ground. Mike, last year, and you and I have talked about it this week, you thought that Long Beach Poly wasn't patient enough, that they didn't stay with that running game, that big front line, and just pound De La Salle down the field.
And I think that would probably be the difference. I think you're a year older and wiser, and the coaching staff and the players, and it's, you know, really simple mathematics when you look at the height and weight difference between the offensive and defensive lines of Poly going against guys that are going both ways and are outmanned on both sides of the football.
Jackson to throw again, looking to his right. Now laid across the middle and in and out of the hands of Alex Watson.
Where he had a chance to drop it into Watson. Watson ran a deep in route, and Leon just missed him just a little bit high.
JJ, talk about Leon Jackson. We spent time with him at practice this week in Long Beach, and this is a young man who understands that this may be the most defining moment of his athletic career so far.
Yeah, Jim, I'm really impressed by the poise and maturity of Jackson. You know, he's a three-sport star at Long Beach Poly. He plays baseball, basketball, and football, but last year he didn't play basketball or baseball to tip that off to concentrate on football and get ready for this game. 3rd down and 7, and it's going to be more than that.
Just like last year, Long Beach Poly, the team coming out a little bit tight. Mike, you got to figure the De La Salle every week knows
False
somebody's
start.
trying to beat them.
Offense. Still third down.
It's part of being a champion is the fact that you do understand that every team that you play, it's the biggest game of that team's life, of those players' life. And you're always the team that's been circled on their calendar. So it's almost routine, almost business-like, the fact that you know you have to play at a high level every single game.
Now it's 3rd down and 12. Poly has to get inside the 39-yard line of De La Salle for a first. Jackson, good protection, steps up in the pocket. He can run. He pulls up and throws too high.
You got Jackson on the move that time. There's a breakdown in the protection, and he has to roll to his left and doesn't throw as well there on the move as he might when he's set in the pocket. And it kind of goes back to the conversation we were talking about, Jim. You've got to be patient. If you believe that you've got physical superiority, be patient and try to run the ball. But when you're 3rd and long in the situation they're in, no choice but to throw the football down the field.
Leon Jackson, the quarterback, is also the punter. That's where he played last year in this game. Brandon Brooks was the quarterback for Poly. He pops one up, and it lands inside the 15 and bounces sideways, and Poly corrals it there at about the 15-yard line. Maurice Drew was back deep, never got to touch it. Timeout on the field. We're just underway at Strawberry Canyon on campus at Cal. It's the high school football game of the week. It's also the high school football game of the year.
The Los Angeles Lakers are champions you can count on. 1, 2, 3. Celebrate the Lakers' 3 straight NBA championships with Sports Illustrated's Triple Thrill Pack, the official NBA Finals 2002 home video on your choice of either DVD or VHS. Plus, the Sports Illustrated hardbound commemorative. This individually numbered classic captures the Lakers at their championship best. Both are free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. For an inside look at what it takes to win 3 straight, call now and get 55 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.59 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. This terrific Sports Illustrated sweatshirt is also free when you use your credit card. Extra large and extra special. It's the perfect fit for a sports fan. Call now and get Sports Illustrated's Triple Thrill Pack free. This is where the champions are. Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Hey, settle down. Now don't worry, if Keyshawn Johnson said he'll be here, he'll be here.
We'd like to welcome in a guy who always finds time to be on the show, Keyshawn Johnson.
You got to help me with my wardrobe here, Mike.
Yeah, you need some help.
You got to look good.
Right.
Saturday night, you got to look good, man.
Right, everybody.
Right, Mike's going to pick out some stuff. Thanks.
Goose, I think you look good in some tights. Super 100s?
Super 120s?
Super 120s.
Got it. That's good. Ain't you got anything with some style?
What you need is just stretch. Do you have any stretch material?
Whole lot of stretch.
Just a whole lot of stretch.
The NFL Show with Irvin, Siragusa, and Davidson tonight and tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
The red flowing stuff?
We're doing an NFL show or we gypsies? What's going on here?
You're watching Fox Sports Net 2.
Wix Furniture, quality brand names, huge selection, risk-free buying.
Wix Furniture can make anybody sexy. Not that I need it.
Transmission problems? Take it to the experts. AMCO. For a job done right, guaranteed, at a price that's right. Call 1-800-GO-AMCO.
That's what a hamburger's all about.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 8 and 11.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the program.
4:22 to play in the first quarter. Number 1 De La Salle with a 7-0 advantage. Tomorrow, get your NFL fix a day earlier with the most outrageous, unpredictable NFL pregame show you've ever seen. Introducing the NFL show on Fox Sports Net with Michael Irvin, Tony Siragusa, and comedian Tommy Davidson. Pregame shows may never be the same. So start your NFL weekend the night before kickoff with the NFL show presented by the U.S. Postal Service tonight at 11 and Sunday at 7:30 on Fox Sports Net. First down for Poly at the 27. Leon Jackson and the Jackrabbits go back to work. Chris Mulvaney threw quickly.
Oh, what a knifing play by Mulvaney from his defensive end position. Just slants down and gets the running back before he can even get started.
Well, sometimes, you want to roll the dice a little bit as a defensive player. Here he penetrates inside, takes on the blocker, and just makes a great play. That's the type of little things you do in a football game to set the tempo. Now you're second and almost 11.
Bo Morris, the only guy behind Leon Jackson. Both receivers to the top. Jackson, quick look to the left. Plenty of time, throws close to the first down, but incomplete, out of bounds, didn't get the feet down. Derrick Jones, an interesting story, guys, because we all remember what happened last year. On the very first play of the game, Long Beach Poly sent Derrick Jones on a streak. He beat the secondary, the ball was delivered, and he didn't make the catch. He had a terrible night, and this is a wonderful wide receiver.
And everybody's gone back to that and said, boy, what if he had caught that ball? What if? And you can't think that way if you're a receiver. You've got to have a short memory, because if you drop it, forget about it, come back the next game and start to catch.
Yeah,
that's Jones in motion. Watson at the bottom of the screen. They both run crosses, and they dump it across the 30-yard line.
That's Derrick Jones. And as I can tell you, Mike, being an ex-receiver, the one thing that is the worst thing on the receiver to go is your confidence, and that's exactly what happened to him last year. He lost his confidence, and so there's a domino effect after that. But I can tell you, 364 days, Derrick Jones has been thinking about this game.
See, and it's always interesting how do players respond in the big-time games, and that was the biggest game up to his life.
Well, even though it was a completion, it was far short of the first down by 4.5 yards. And now De La Salle's going to get great field position. A shank punt by Jackson goes out near midfield. In fact, it is on the Poly side of the 50 at the 48-yard line. And JJ, you can't give De La Salle a short field.
Yeah, Jim, but that bad punt was really caused by Maurice Drew, and you're wondering why. I say Maurice Drew because he is the returner, because they concentrate so much on trying to kick the ball away from him. Leon Jackson kicks the ball right out of bounds.
Yeah, but you can't disagree with that strategy. I mean, do you want to kick it to him? You've seen how dangerous he is running the ball. And even if you get to him, can you tackle him? Not very often will you see one man or two men bring down Maurice Drew. It usually takes 3 defenders.
So De La Salle starts on the Poly side of the 50. Drew and Ottoboni at play action to Drew. Cecil with pressure. Let's go down to Lindsay on the sideline.
Jim, you want to know if this Long Beach Poly team is at all intimidated by the 129 winning streak? They say not at all. They haven't beaten us 129 teams, or they're working on a one-game winning streak with us. The two things that Coach Lara has been harping on all week long are the two things he said they didn't do well last year. Execution on offense. Says if they score 4 touchdowns in this game, he thinks that they'll win. 4 touchdowns. And on defense, tackling. Says wrap them up. And over on the sidelines, he's been telling them, tackle Drew, tackle Drew.
Well, that's not real complicated, is it? Go tackle the best guy in the building right now. Yeah, he did talk about the missed tackles last year. He was still frustrated about it, and he did look at the tape of this game, or last year's game this week. De La Salle just trying to get the ball to Maurice Drew outside. To De La Salle's credit, they find a lot of different ways to get that young man the football.
Well, he gets the football, but what Lindsay just said, you got to tackle, and you see him make a little move here and whiff. You cannot whiff on this guy. As a matter of fact, you've got to stop, form up, and make the tackle. You've got to be concise with what you do against number 21, Maurice Drew.
Yeah, and Mike Drew is really a big back. He goes at 193, and as a defensive back or any defensive player, really, you want to come up and try to put some force on him and hit him. Really, this isn't a guy that you try to hit. You just want to gotcha. Right. A lot of gotcha tackles is what they need.
Now he was short of the first down by about a half a yard, so it's 3rd down. And now he's got the first down. And Maurice Drew, although not big, about 5'7", his legs, his trunk, unbelievable. He carries linebackers just incredible strength on this young man.
So many articles on him this week. We had a joke. There's another article that said Maurice Drew, good. There was one about him in the weight room with DJ Williams, the big Spartan star, is now at the University of Miami, saying how much they squat in the weight room. He squats as much as the lineman, over 500 pounds for a running back.
Fitzgerald and Colvin are the wideouts, Bates and Ottoboni. And this is Bates, Jackie Bates. Dropped after about a yard gain. Josh Tavanuu was the first guy to get there for Long Beach Poly, but he did have help. Marcus Fennell.
Now, Jimmy, look for Bates and Ottoboni to really help spell Drew. Drew plays both sides of the ball, offense and defense, and of course the kick returner. So if you're De La Salle, you have to rely on some other names to come up big in this game, and they're hoping that Jackie Bates is one of those.
Give him a couple, so 2nd down and 8 now for De La Salle. 129 straight victories for the Spartans. Back to Ottoboni on the option. And look at Ottoboni. Ottoboni inside the 10 and near the 5-yard line.
Flag on the play, though, holding on the Spartans.
It is coming back. Flag all the way back near the 30-yard line. Ottoboni was the guy we spent some time with yesterday up here out at the campus in Concord. We like this young man. He's just got a great attitude, just your prototypical veer pounder, the grinder in the backfield.
Yeah, what a great kid. And then I had a chance to ask him, hey, you know, explain to me Coach Ladouceur's weight program. How tough is it? He said, it's pretty
offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
He said, it's pretty tough, Jim. I said, explain to me one day. He said, well, in the summer, we'll work out 5 hours and then go play another team in passing league. That's just an example of how tough their workouts are in the summer.
And Mike, Bob Ladouceur was very concerned last year the way his guys wore down, especially in this Poly game. And because of that, the players said the conditioning program for De La Salle was much more intense this year.
Well, the players that, but then the former players say it's not as hard as back when we played in the old days. You know, it's a totally subjective thing. It's easy when you look at it. It's hard when you do it.
That's right.
So the penalty moves him back to the 38-yard line. It is 2nd down and 20. Trips at the top of the screen. Fitzgerald, the only guy at the bottom, and now Drew goes in motion. They throw it out and whistles again. Well, you would expect guys to be a little tight, maybe a little bit nervous, but we're beyond that point. They should just be playing football right now.
Well, Jim, there's so many new wrinkles.
Dead ball, false start, offense. 5 yards, 2nd down.
Jim, there's so many new wrinkles in both teams' offenses coming into this game because after playing a team last year, you sort of get a good feel of them and a lot of game film, of course. So they have a lot of new wrinkles, and of course, when you put new things into the game plan, the first thing that happens is penalties.
Yeah, but I think it's unusual to see this many penalties with Spartans. It is not like them. It's not usually in their personality.
Bradley, Colvin, and Bates at the top, and it's Fitzgerald at the bottom. Fitzgerald rolling with his quarterback. They go underneath to Jackie Bates. Jackie Bates inside the 30. Spun out at the 27-yard line. They need to get inside the 20 for a 1st down. Byron Villega with the tackle for Poly.
Who had Jackie Bates in the pool?
That was me.
All right, you never know who it's going to be. You don't know who Bob Ladouceur is going to come up with, but you see what's going on there. Is it a formation that's going to get you? Is it what they do with motion? Is it getting a guy out that you're not expecting? And Jackie Bates is the guy that you don't expect. You expect Maurice Drew, another surprise, another wrinkle by the Spartans.
Right hash mark, so now De La Salle moves all their receivers to the left side. And one of those is Maurice Drew, who's right on the hash mark, and now they're confused. And the signal from the sideline, timeout. They just came out confused. Everybody, especially the whole receiving corps, looking at each other with their hands in the air. Where are we? Where are we supposed to be? And the guy who called the timeout was Maurice Drew.
Yeah, Jim, but I'll tell you right now, Coach Bob Ladouceur has put together a perfect game plan for here in the first quarter. He's gotten the ball to every position. He's spreading the ball around. That makes it almost impossible for a defense to adjust.
Our critics are calling the Best Damn Sports Show, period, a 2-hour frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. Best Damn Sports Show, period, every weeknight at 8 and 11 on Fox Sports Net. Judge, you talk about the way Brett Cecil has played so far. A young man that we didn't know a whole lot about because he didn't play last year, but he looks solid so far.
Yeah, his job, Jim, is to take care of the ball, lead the offense, do not turn the ball over, and make smart decisions. He's doing that so far in this first quarter.
You know, I don't know if this is too far of a stretch, but maybe it's like an analogy with the NFL in preseason and what the Spartans do. They don't really show you anything. They don't show their entire offense. They don't show you everything that they're going to do. defensively until they get to these big games. And Jim, we talked about this yesterday. After this game, how hard is it going to be for the Spartans? Are they going to have the type of problems that they will against a Poly football team? This is their toughest match of the year until they get deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, and the thing is as you talk about Cecil, he's thrown 7 passes already today. Well, in the season so far, only 38, so he's well above his average.
3rd down and 9, and De La Salle goes on the ground. That football is loose. Poly says they have it. The officials a little slow to get to the pile again. They still have not signaled. Now, I'll tell you, that football did come loose before the runner was down, but it depends when the whistle sounded.
Might even be
and Ottoboni is injured on the bottom of the pile. Well, we're going to assume that De La Salle is going to keep the football.
Referees went in there.
Progress was stopped at the 25.
All right, so that's what they called. The forward progress was stopped, and then the football popped out. So take a look at it, and you make the call.
No, obviously they're saying that they blew the whistle there because, as you said, the ball came out at the end there. That's clearly a fumble unless they have already whistled it dead.
Another tough break against Poly, JJ?
Yeah, that ball was loose, Jim, before he reached the ground, and I think that Ottoboni's leg got caught under a Poly defender, so we'll have to see if this is an ankle or a knee injury. It didn't look good the way he was twisted in that pile.
And I can't even look at that stuff, you know, and especially when I see young men like this, high school guys that, you know, at the height of what is the fun part of their life and playing for one of the great programs, if not the greatest program in high school football. You know, that was so much of what we got yesterday when we sat down with Bob Ladouceur about his program and what it's all about, and he's just so unassuming. He's not what you expect a football coach to be. You expect all this, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to hit him on the right side and the left side, and all that stuff that people think football's about. It's not what he is.
No, he is quiet confidence the same way that his team plays, and that's exactly what we got yesterday, but I can tell you he opened up a little bit to us yesterday more than in the past.
Gino Ottoboni has helped to his feet, and now he's going to be helped off the field, and that is not good news for De La Salle. Obviously, the one guy they couldn't afford to lose was Maurice Drew, but Gino Ottoboni very important to this team.
You know, when you say that, though, you always think about a star, and yeah, Maurice Drew is obviously the star and the best athlete for the Spartans, but you know, the way they play, it's all timing, it's all teamwork, and that's what it's been built upon. And when you do lose a guy as integral as Gino Ottoboni, it's going to slow down what you do. You're going to be less effective.
It is 4th down now for De La Salle. 4th down and 7 at the 25-yard line, and they will go. Drew. They throw an inside screen to DeMonte Fitzgerald, and he is short of the 1st down. Well short. And the Poly fans sitting across the way in the sand, in the sun, finally start to make some noise.
Yeah, defense, Jim, is one thing that always turns high school games around in terms of momentum. A big defensive play for the Jackrabbits there, but I'm really surprised that the Spartans didn't kick that ball, Mike. They have one of the best kickers in all of high school football, Tony Binswanger. He has an electric leg. That's a chip shot for him.
Binswanger is extremely effective, and you saw what he did in Hawaii. We watched him yesterday in practice. It does surprise me a little bit, but, you know, a lot of sorts unconventional.
Toss back to Lorenzo Bersi. Lorenzo Bersi, mentioned at the top of the show, 1,500 yards last year when he was playing at Beverly Hills High School. The other guy who came from Beverly Hills High School is the quarterback, Leon Jackson.
And if I'm Poly, I pull out a heavy dose of that. And not just Bersi, but you've got really 5 running backs that I think that are quality guys that are good running backs. No one is truly great. And I use that offensive line to pound and pound and pound and pound, stay in the game and control the football.
Bo Morris now behind Jackson on 2nd and 4. And Jackson looks to throw. Great protection. Now it starts to break down. He can't find an escape route. Tries to straight arm and gets tackled all the way back at the 23-yard line. DeMonte Fitzgerald coming out to make the play.
Yeah, Jim, that is just a coverage sack. There was no place for Leon Jackson to throw that ball. And in the rush for De La Salle, they stayed in their lanes and forced him out of the pocket. So this is great secondary coverage, and you don't always have to put pressure on the quarterback. Sometimes you just have to cover him.
Yeah, not a ton of penetration there, but as you pointed out, everybody stayed in their lanes. Nobody panicked, and Leon Jackson is what we call a mobile quarterback, a guy that can take off once in a while, but they handled him.
That is the last play of the first quarter. De La Salle with a 7-0 lead. De La Salle number 1, Poly number 2.
A brand new pickup truck is a beautiful thing. So protect your truck bed with Tough Stuff, the Rhino Lining sprayed-on bed liner. Hi, I'm Mark Oliver. Drop-in bed liners just won't cut it. They can damage your paint job and create rust problems. But Rhino Lining's polyurethane truck bed linings are sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick. They can take a beating and won't crack or warp. They're warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. Water can't get under a Rhino lining. It prevents rust. Drop-in liners don't. And Rhino linings resist chemicals.
13 years, 200,000 miles, and 2 engines. But still the original Rhino lining.
What's the only bed lining I'll put in my truck? Rhino lining. Get the toughness of a Rhino's armor to protect your truck. Call now for a free sample of Tough Stuff, information, and the friendly Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. During our super sale, get $30 off a new Rhino lining and a free 4-wheel and off-road Ultimate Adventure pin set.
On the next Beyond the Glory, Michael Irvin's superstar lifestyle almost ruined a Hall of Fame career.
I don't know anything about anything.
Living the high life
He was caught up in the money, the women, the drugs.
and in constant trouble.
Why does this stuff keep happening to you?
But a brush with death made him turn things around.
I was so afraid of that pain.
Playmaker or troublemaker? Michael Irvin, Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Hey guys, let's not forget, man, this is the NFL show. And the NFL's hardcore, so we must stay hardcore.
That's right.
You know, Tom, you've been out here the longest. You gotta make sure that, me and Michael don't get caught up in that Hollywood stuff, you know?
You can count on me. If you guys fall off the wayside, just let me know, man.
Mike, I think I'm gonna get the, either the polish or the clear.
No, just get a nice buff.
Hey guys, how about a bikini wax next?
The NFL Show with Irvin, Siragusa, and Davidson tonight and tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 8 and 11.
Hi, Billy Mays here with another unique product from the Invention Channel. It's called the Rotomatic. It's the portable powerhouse that fits in the palm of your hand. It has the power to drill, the strength to grind, and the versatility to buff and polish. The Rotomatic even has the precision to etch and engrave with pinpoint accuracy. The secret's the 10,000 RPM motor that allows you to cut, sand, and drill all in one simple step. The Easy Change Chuck gives you the versatility to polish a silver antique or grind down a rusty nail. The Rotomatic is strong enough to remove rust, yet accurate enough to sharpen the dullest blade. It takes the guesswork out of craft work and makes any weekend project a little bit easier. Sanding a rough edge down to a smooth finish is now a breeze. Or switch out and put the lustrous shine back in your metals. Personalize your most prized possessions in one easy step. Before you replace or retowel, use the router. It makes old grout look like new. The Rotomatic makes a great gift and is perfect if you have a car, truck, boat, or RV. Why spend a fortune on tools that you'll only use once? The Rotomatic gives you all the power you need in the palm of your hand. Similar products sell for as much as $80. Call now and you'll get the Rotomatic complete with this 10-piece set for only $19.99. But as part of this special offer, we'll upgrade you to the rechargeable unit and give you the power pack at no extra charge. But call right now and we'll include the 50-piece accessory kit absolutely free. That means you get all this, a whopping $100 value, all for just $19.99. But you gotta call now. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-324-7190 to order your Rotomatic for just $19.99 plus shipping. Call 1-800-324-7190 or send a check or money order to the address on your screen.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the program.
Beautiful San Francisco, the Trans-American Pyramid, right side of your screen. We are all the way across in the East Bay in Berkeley at the University of California. Number 1, De La Salle leads number 2, Long Beach Poly 7-0, 7 minutes, 20 seconds to play. In the first half, De La Salle had one of their players go out, Gino Ottoboni. Let's go down to Sean Farnham on the sideline for an update.
Last night, Gino Ottoboni told his mother that this is the biggest game of his life. Right now, he's trying to figure out whether he's going to be able to get back in this game. He's got a sprain of the knee and the ankle. He is questionable at best for the rest of this game. Back to you.
Yeah, Sean, and that's a great point. And, you know, I feel sorry for any injury. Mike, we had a chance to sit down and talk to Gino yesterday.
Yeah.
He has to be one of the most dynamic, mature young men that we've met in a long time at the high school level.
That's what you talk about, tangibles versus intangibles. He's got a lot of intangibles.
First down for De La Salle at the 32. First guy through was Maurice Drew across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
De La Salle is in a habit of running a lot of counter stuff, a lot of misdirection. You know, that's what they used last year against Poly. But everything is set up off the dive, and Maurice Drew is that dive back. And right now the Spartans kind of getting back to that a little bit, not letting you forget about that. And I expect they're going to try to lull you to sleep with a little dive, 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 and then go empty formation again.
Yeah, Mike, for the first quarter and a half, we saw two teams really bring everything out of the bag, everything that they've been practicing for the last year. Right. Now we get down to base offense and base defense and find out who has the better team.
Saw the graphic, 68 yards already for Maurice Drew, and the tendency when you have a star in your backfield like Maurice Drew is to get him the ball a little bit too much. I think De La Salle's done a nice job of balance today.
Yeah, Jim, you're exactly right. That has been the key so far in this game, is that Britt Cecil has spread the ball around to all of his skill players. All of his skill players have touched the ball in some way, shape, or form, and several running backs have come up with big plays also.
Well, you know, it's a chess game that goes on between coaches. You know, some guys are poker players and some think they're chess masters, and they know who your stars are. You want to try to use somebody else because you know that they know that you know that they know.
That's right, and I don't know.
The delay was because Rodney Van for Long Beach Poly had a problem with his equipment, so they sent him off. Try to get that fixed and get back in the game. And Drew, a yard and then thrown backwards. Mark Washington. Long Beach Poly defense has been tested. Let's go down to Lindsay.
For this series, and the coaches were telling them, De La Salle cannot run inside on us. We know they're going to have to use a lot of these runs to the outside, use a lot of these crackbacks. We knew this was coming. You practiced for this. Now you just have to get out there and stop them. On offense, they're talking about blitz pickups. They said the keys to this game would be execution and tackling, and so far it looks like they have been.
Third down and 5 for De La Salle at the 36. Bates and Drew. That's Colvin in motion. He looked left, now Cecil. Going to try to run for it himself. Needs to get to the 41. He does and gets out of bounds. Brett Cecil, a very smart play.
And the ball boy takes one of the best hits of the game so far by Cecil.
Well, you know, maybe he's not the greatest thrower in the history of De La Salle, and maybe he has been the shadow of Matt Gutierrez. But boy, when you make those plays, isn't that what it's all about? Just get a first down. Nothing was there. The play was set up. Everybody's covered, and Cecil makes something happen with his feet there. There's the play fake. He's looking around. Don't press a bad situation. Just try to get out of bounds and get the first down.
But once again, it comes back to tackling. That time Long Beach Poly had Cecil stopped before the first down marker, and if they didn't make the tackle in the open field, thus they have a first down.
Cecil ran right around Marlon Simmons, the talented linebacker for Long Beach Poly, was able to pick up that first down. Go to the other side, it's Cecil again after the fake to Bates, and look at Cecil now 2 times in a row, and Brett Cecil is all fired up.
Freddie Parrish coming up. We talked about how physical he is coming from the safety spot, and he comes and puts a lick on him. You got to be a special individual if you want to be a quarterback number 1, but if you want to be a quarterback that runs this offense, not only do you have to be smart and be able to throw the ball, but you got to be able to take punishment as well.
Yeah, Mike, but we saw the first big adjustment of the game for Long Beach Poly. So far, they've been trying to defend that option from the inside out. That time, they took away the pitch man and forced Cecil to make the run on his own.
Football on the ground, and Cecil just picked it up and dove forward. He's going to get probably a yard, and it's going to be 3rd down and 1.
You talk about that adjustment, John. I mean, when you think about it, that's what you've got to want to do. You want to turn it back into the heart of your defense because they are so physical. And I think that is one of the smart ways to stop teams that like to pitch the ball. Turn them back in. Take away the pitch immediately.
Now the key to that, though, Mike, is if you're going to have the quarterback run the ball, you're going to have to get fast safety support. So look for Freddie Parrish and Rodney Van. They must get involved to stop this veer option.
3rd down and 1. Option. Cecil spins. First down. Brett Cecil now personally responsible for moving the chains 2 series in a row.
It's like slow torture if you're a defensive coordinator when you think that you've got them wrapped up, you think you got them bottled up, And even when Cecil fumbles the ball, he picked up a foot. And then on third down, finds a way to pick up the first. Just moving the chains, very methodical in their approach.
And remember that Raul Lara, the head coach of Long Beach Poly, for many years under Jerry Jaso, was the defensive coordinator for Long Beach Poly. So he takes all of this very personally. First down at the 47. De La Salle on top 7-0. Scored in the first quarter. Jackie Bates, maybe a yard. Junior Limau was in. Junior Limau is unbelievable, Mike. When we were at practice and we watched this guy, of course we knew about him last year.
Right.
One of the best athletes on the field today, and this is a guy a lot of colleges are interested in.
Well, they should be, because as we watched him in practice, this is a guy that could probably play tight end as well. Very gifted athletically, loves contact, and that's part of those intangibles you love in a football player, a guy that likes to bang around.
De La Salle, you saw the graphic, already over 100 yards of rushing today. It's that precise blocking, and now they're going to the air, going deep for Colvin. He's got it!
Well, Jimmy, talking to Coach Ladouceur, they said one thing that Britt Cecil can do is throw the deep ball, and he puts this one right on the money to Colvin. You mentioned the rushing yards, 100 yards, so you have to respect the play-action pass. You get your big play receiver behind the secondary. He came up big last week, or big against St. Louis also. 2 catches in that game for 81 yards. This, a quick strike.
Yeah, when you saw these two teams over in Hawaii, that Cameron Colvin was the guy that jumped out at you.
The extra point was deflected at the line of scrimmage, and so something for Long Beach Poly to salvage out of that. So it's only 13-0. Cameron Colvin, well, we told you that Britt Cecil likes to throw the ball deep. He has a great arm. Watch Colvin hold off Massengale with the one arm, create some space. Touchdown, De La Salle.
You know what, man? Why did they take away the end zone dances, man? I like that, man. Billy White Shoe Johnson. Remember that?
Yeah,
Stop that.
What's your favorite?
What's my favorite move?
Yeah, your favorite.
I think it was basically the Icky. The Icky was my
Yeah, I
favorite.
love Icky. Icky was it.
Like you guys used to have a grenade move. I love that, man.
I want to grab the ball, go, yeah. Everybody fall out.
Belly bump, man. Belly bump with the ball, man.
Come on, Mike, give me something.
The NFL Show with Irvin, Siragusa, and Davidson. Tonight and tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
Fox Sports Net's Viewers Voice Box gives LA sports fans the chance to talk back on TV. Today we asked, does LA deserve an NFL expansion team?
Of course LA deserves a football team. We don't want the Colts, we don't want the Saints, we want our own NFL team.
They don't deserve one. San Diego has a great team.
Don't listen to her, she has no idea what she's talking about.
We're dying for a team. We need a team. NFL needs to be in LA. Fox Sports Net's Viewers Voice Box at Staples Center. Step inside. Be on TV.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 8 and 11.
No, that is not Tightwad Hill here at Memorial Stadium in Strawberry Canyon, but a pretty good vantage point on a beautiful day. De La Salle, #1 in the nation with a 13-0 lead. Touchdowns in both the first and second quarter. Long Beach Poly unable to get anything going offensively so far. Cameron Colvin, the touchdown for De La Salle on a perfect pass by Britt Cecil on one-on-one coverage.
Well, once again, you've got everybody sucked up, biting on the play fake, and then you get man-on-man coverage out there. And then just as a matter of having the ball hit the guy right in the hands, and Cameron Colvin fulfilling what a lot of people thought that he would do in this game.
Yeah, but Mike, you know, the coaching staff, they told us that Colvin is just scratching the surface of what kind of receiver he is going to be. They think he's going to be really something special and go down with the Demetrius Williams and all the great receivers that have passed through this school.
Now you're putting a lot of pressure on the guy.
Hey, he's only a junior, might as well set the bar high.
46-yard touchdown strike, so it's 13-0. The extra point was blocked. Poly needs something good to happen. Watson and Jones are the deep guys, and when it goes to the end zone in high school football, it stays there. Now, we told you that about the leg of Tony Binswanger. This is a guy who puts most of his kickoffs into the end zone, and last week he kicked off and the ball hit the crossbar.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Yesterday we had a chance to watch him kicking field goals with the entire team razzing him while he was trying to kick them. And, you know, he was made about 3 out of 4, and they were either right or left, and that was it was long enough at all times. So we looked down at the yard marker, and he was 50 yards away. That wasn't even a chip shot. He was making it look like an easy chip shot from where we were standing.
It's almost like the guys are football players wearing a linesman number there. You know what I'm saying? And the guys razz them a little bit.
Long Beach Poly got down last year. They started to panic just a little bit, started to throw the ball on almost every down, and that made it easy for De La Salle's defense. Jackson's going to throw. A lot of traffic around him. He's able to get the ball out to Alex Watson, who made the catch right near the first down marker. Let's go down to Sean Farnham on the sideline.
You think the defense is fired up a little bit? Eric Sandy right there on the last possession, right before the kickoff, was running up and down the sideline telling his teammates they're going 3 and out. Obviously, this is a second and about 3 inches, so they might not get the 3 and out, but their team is pumped. They want nothing for Poly before the half. Absolutely nothing. Back to you.
When we talked with Bob Ladouceur, when we asked him, what do you do defensively against Long Beach Poly? He said, you just eliminate the huge play. So far, they've done that. 2nd and 1. Jackson going to check off. A chance maybe to go deep, stretch the D here. He's got receivers going deep. He looked at Watson. Now he goes back to the opposite side of the field. Hold on, there's a flag all the way back at the 27-yard line. It was Derek Jones with a catch and carry, but as I said, a flag in the backfield of Long Beach Poly, and it's holding. Every time Long Beach Poly starts to get something going, have a mistake, a miscue, a mental error.
Yeah, but Jim, you talked about Coach Ladouceur is going to force Long Beach Poly to be patient. Right now, Leon Jackson trying to do just that, using the intermediate route.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards, still first down.
Trying to use the intermediate routes, but it's going to be tough if they keep shooting themselves in the foot with penalties.
Well, if Jackson's going to continue to throw this football, that offensive line's going to be under a complete assault. Lindsey is on the sideline.
Jim, I just listened in on this last series. The offensive coaches are really frustrated, and they say it all starts with the offensive line. They're not getting the job done. They say they scored 7 straight touchdowns last week. Obviously, this isn't Rialto, but there's no reason they shouldn't have any points on the board.
Yeah, last week, their first 7 times they touched the ball, Long Beach Poly, they scored 7 touchdowns and 7 different guys. Pressure coming, Jackson going down at the 11. Chris Mulvaney, his second big defensive play of the afternoon.
Got to pick your spots as a defensive coordinator. You don't want to blitz all the time because you'll get burnt. But here, very opportune situation. Mulvaney coming off of the left side, and the protection is not there. Blitz pickup has been a problem for Poly. Both their sacks have come off of blitzes.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some adjustments at halftime and really see if they need to keep the running backs in to shore up that protection, because right now when they blitz, there's too much pressure on Jackson, not even giving him a chance to get the ball off.
Guys, you got to give credit to the secondary of De La Salle, because Jackson's got nowhere to go. He's going to a second and a third receiver, and here you see again, he had to check off and go to the second guy, and he overthrows him. So Jackson is looking one way, it's not there. He looks for his secondary receiver, it's still not there. And then he knows he's got that internal clock, the pressure's coming, scooting up in the pocket and throwing a little high.
Well, when you've got that internal clock, you know what it's talking about. It's talking about whether your line is going to come get you. Is the push going to be there? When you've got a secondary out there on 3rd and long, you got more guys out there to cover the defenders. It's not going to be easy to find somebody unless you've got time. And the defensive front of the Spartans has not given Leon Jackson time.
Yeah, but we knew coming into this game, Long Beach Poly was going to have to play their perfect game in order to beat De La Salle, and penalties and miscues have really killed them here in the first half.
Yeah, but De La Salle has not played a perfect game, and they lead 13-0. Poly has played a terrible first half. This is Maurice Drew. Gonna watch this football land. That's kind of strange. And the Jackrabbits down it at the 36, and the crowd groans because the ball would have continued to roll.
I love that. What?
Kevin Massengale. He said, hey, that's my job. I run down the football.
Yeah, he's going to get a little counseling, but he goes to
gentle persuasion.
That's right.
Now, Bob Ladouceur has to be pretty happy with the way things have gone for his team so far. October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox NFL Sunday, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. And then Terry Glenn returns to New England for the first time as the Packers battle Tom Brady and the Patriots, or the Panthers take on the Cowboys, or the Falcons take on the Giants. Coverage begins at 9 o'clock on Fox. Brett Cecil, short drop, and a tough throw outside. That ball almost intercepted. Marlon Simmons on the read and react. Actually, it's Rodney Van.
Yeah, and that would have really turned the momentum around, Jim. Rodney Van did a great job of breaking on that route. And if it would have been on target, it would have been interception, touchdown, Poly. Brett Cecil has to remember, Mike, you got to take care of the ball. Do not throw any interception.
Yeah, you know, and you're caught between should I be conservative here and try to run down the clock, or should we try to fool him a little bit? And, on reflection, maybe it's a good time to be conservative and just try to run out this clock.
And as you say that, they put 4 receivers in the pattern.
Sure.
Now, first Drew is the back guy. They pitch to Drew, who always seems to get the corner. He's unbelievable. It was the short side of the field. It was a slow developing play. They read it, and he still got the corner.
It's not that he gets the corner, because a lot of backs can get out there and get the corner. A lot of backs are as fast as he is. But it's when he turns it up, where his body's at, and you can't tackle the guy. He runs you over. He carries tacklers down for 5 yards.
Now, he only goes at 5'9", so a lot of defenders want to hit him up high, but he's way too strong for that, Mike. You got to get down, get under him, and try to take those legs out, although they are probably the biggest legs we've seen in high school football.
Maurice Drew had 78 yards on the ground in last year's game. Already has 81. Cecil on the run. Junior Lemau in pursuit. And Lemau took him all the way to the sideline and was closing on him.
I'll tell you what, that was lucky, though, because when you're looking at what's happening in the secondary, there's a couple of receivers that get open, and Cecil on the run here and just gets rid of the football. That's really the first time I've seen Brett Cecil try to really press something.
Yeah, he did a nice job, though, Mike, in just getting that ball away and getting incompletion. That probably saved his team about 7 or 8 yards in field position by just throwing that incompletion. Look at Junior Lemau, though. 6'5", 250.
Bringing it all the time.
Squats 530, benches 385.
2nd and 10 right near midfield. Cecil, delayed handoff to Maurice Drew into the secondary and near another first down. Maurice Drew looks like he could go over 100 yards in the first half against the 2nd best team in the United States.
Talk about being fearless. You had the problem down in your own end of the field. Now you're starting to tear him up a little bit, and Maurice Drew is trying to exert himself, much like he did last year. When you talk about great running backs, they always have that trait. They get better and better and better as the game goes on. They get a better feel for the game, and obviously Maurice Drew has got that. Look at that discrepancy between De La Salle and Poly in the rushing numbers.
117 to 1.
Yeah, and if we'd have known that the numbers would be 117 rushing yards to 1 this far into the game, you'd have thought this game was over. I mean, it's 13-0, and Poly has hung in there, but man, Long Beach Poly has got to get their running game going somehow.
Same situation as last year, guys, and that's Long Beach Poly found themselves in the unfamiliar position of chasing, of being pursued, and they didn't react well last year.
That is a situation that they're not used to. They've rolled everybody to this point. Even Kahuku, who was supposed to be a big challenge for them in Honolulu, they have not been in this position before.
1:02 now to play in the first half. Drew hit once and then hit again, and close again to the first down.
Yeah, William Allo made the first hit in the backfield. Just like we said all day today, Drew breaks the first tackle. He'll pick up a first down. But being down and facing adversity is something that Raul Lara has preached to his team throughout this week and also throughout the year.
You can talk about it all you want, JJ, but until you live through it and you respond, you don't know how to do it.
Well, Jim, that's the one thing. We'll see if his team can respond, because he told them earlier in the week, they're going to make their plays and we're going to make our plays. Let's see if they can stay patient enough and confident enough to get their plays to come.
Cecil going to throw underneath, looking for Stroud, a little bit behind him.
Interesting to throw the football there, but you can't really second guess what has happened in the mind of Bob Ladouceur. Obviously, he is the guru of all gurus when it comes to being a head coach. You got that clock there. You're thinking to yourself, I want to run it down, and yet I want to try to get a score before halftime to put this thing away for all intents and purposes.
I can tell you, if they get field goal range for Binswanger, is about 50 yards. So they probably need about 7 or 8 yards here to be in position for Binswanger to have a chance.
Why are you guys talking about field goals on second down?
Hey, Jim, there's 35 seconds
Weren't
left.
you a wide receiver?
Hey, there's 35 seconds left to go in the half. You've had a great half if you're De La Salle. You do not want to turn the ball over here. Every point you score at this point is big.
You know, I have to absolutely disagree with both of you guys. I don't know why you're even up here talking about football. You're the #1 team in the nation. What are you thinking about? You're not afraid of anybody. You put this ball in the end zone and you make Pauly go into the locker room and think, we need 3 touchdowns. We got to shut them out.
The only way, though, on the flip side of that, Jim, is to turn things around for Pauly is if something big happens, and if you do make a mistake here, I think you can just pound it at him.
Why get out of bed? You could get hit by a bus. Come on, throw the football. All right, tomorrow, get your NFL fix a day earlier with the most outrageous, unpredictable NFL pregame show you've ever seen. Introducing the NFL show on Fox Sports Net with Michael Irvin, Tony Siragusa, and comedian Tommy Davidson. Pregame shows may never be the same, so start your NFL weekend the night before kickoff with the NFL show presented by the U.S. Postal Service tonight at 11 and Sunday at 7:30 a.m. on Fox Sports Net. 223 total yards for Britt Cecil and the De La Salle offense. Bob Ladouceur said Cecil's got to have a big game. He's having one.
Yeah, Jim, that is a huge game. 96 yards already. He's only thrown for 327 on the year. So for Britt Cecil, this has been huge. He already has a touchdown pass, and most importantly, no interception.
Drew in motion, empty backfield. They will throw. They're going to set up the inside screen to Colvin. Colvin needed one block, and he was gone. First down, De La Salle.
Oh, man, what timing on that play call. Jailbreak screen is what they call this, Mike. And his receivers love this because it gets you big guys in front of us to block. We never get this opportunity. The inside screen to Colvin, and then you see the big guys out in front, as Jim mentioned, 1 tackle away from another touchdown.
Cecil again, this time to Drew. Drew spins to the 26-yard line. 15 seconds. And now the clock runs down to 14 seconds.
Do you think your heart's in your throat as a defensive back every time Maurice Drew comes around and you're thinking that you've got to tackle that guy? Because you know physically he's superior to you with his speed. And then you think to yourself, you know what? He's a lot stronger than me. And then you start thinking, you know what? He's the best football player on this field. What am I going to do to stop this guy?
If this is the first time you've seen Maurice Drew, well then take a look at what he did last week against La Costa Canyon of San Diego. Now, he was going to return a kickoff. This is at De La Salle, by the way. That's their stadium. That's the #1 high school football team in the country, and that's as big as their stadium is. Now, you tell us, is he down? We asked him. He said, I never went down. Right in front of the camera, never went down. And the referee was right there. That's the kind of play that Maurice Drew is not only capable of, but makes.
You've seen plays close to that today. The fact that people have got him and he's almost down and he turns it around. So it's not unusual to see that, and it's not something that would shock you when you see a guy like that.
Yeah, what's also not unusual is the teams that are after Maurice Drew. He says he already has scholarship offers from Colorado, Washington State, Cal, Wisconsin, USC. So a lot of choices.
And when we talked with him about USC, remember this, we were all there. We say all these other schools were recruiting him as a running back. We said, but didn't USC talk to you about possibly playing in the secondary as a cornerback? He said, yes, they said that. And we asked him, what did you say to them? And he said, I want to play running back. We said, how did they respond? They said, well, that'd be all right.
Okay.
Okay, come on down. Bates in motion, trips right, they throw to Bates, Jackie Bates. Jackie Bates cuts it back up the middle to the 25-yard line, and now maybe it is field goal time. Now they're saying they got to spike it. This clock is going to run out.
Oh, man.
De La Salle was out of timeouts. They had no timeouts. Now that is an interesting play by De La Salle with no timeouts. Perhaps they wanted Jackie Bates to continue towards that sideline.
Perhaps they should do what you say. Just go to the end zone, right, Jim? Go deep.
I'm a gambler.
Second down.
Mr. Vegas. Let's go down to Sean Farnham.
Coach Ladouceur, we talked yesterday about Brett Cecil and his play. Can you talk about what he's done for you here in the first half?
I'm real pleased with the way Brett's played so far. He's done a great job, and you know, he has to come out and play a good game in order for us to beat these guys, and I'm real pleased this first half.
Now, as good as Brett has been, your defense has been absolutely phenomenal, only giving up 65 yards here in the first half and shutting down this potent Pauly offense. Can you talk to me about that?
Well, you know, they can strike at any time. We're just, they did a great job, and we're just going to have to come out and still play defense because these guys can really fly.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Jim, back to you.
Yeah, Bob Ladouceur, of course, is going to be a little bit wary about Long Beach Poly. I think that's why they were trying to put some more points on the board at the end of the first half. De La Salle, 129-game win streak, and they are halfway home.
Attention all smokers. Now you can kick the habit in just 7 days. That's right, you can quit smoking in only 7 days guaranteed. Introducing the all-natural Smoke Away system, the herbal stop smoking program that works to completely stamp out your nicotine cravings in just 1 week. Smoke Away is easy, safe, and 100% effective or your money back. Fed up with expensive patches, prescriptions, and gums that often don't work? For less than the price of all of them, you can stop smoking in 7 days guaranteed. Over 100,000 people have used the Smoke Away system.
I like the fact that Smoke Away is all natural, and it really works.
I was on the patch for 5 months with absolutely no results. I did Smoke Away for 3 days, and I've been smoke-free ever since.
Smoke Away has added years to my life. I know now I can enjoy my kids growing up and their kids growing up.
Thanks to Smoke Away, we've been smoke-free for 2 years and saved $2,000. Thank you, Smoke Away.
The secret is the unique combination of all natural herbal ingredients that work to completely and naturally eliminate your body's craving for nicotine with no side effects like insomnia, tension, or weight gain. So now you can quit quickly and effortlessly without the agony of withdrawal.
It's safe. It's highly effective. I've had tremendous success with my patients using the Smoke Away program. In fact, I had a patient who had smoked for 25 years and quit in 2 days using the Smoke Away program.
Smoke Away is the only all-natural program that's guaranteed to help you quit smoking in only 7 days, no matter how long you've smoked, no matter how many times you've tried to quit before. It's true. If you started the Smoke Away program today, in 7 days, you could kick the habit 100% guaranteed or your money back. Don't be a slave to smoking anymore. Pick up the phone and order your Smoke Away system now.
To order Smoke Away, call 1-800-519-6522. That's 1-800-519-6522. So call 1-800-519-6522 and order today.
Long Beach Poly's vaunted air game, non-existent so far. The message has been clear from the De La Salle secondary. Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full at halftime. 13-0 De La Salle. Team's coming back onto the field. Let's go down to Lindsay Soto with Raul Lara.
Thanks, Buddy. Coach Lara, your team is not familiar with being in this position. They were looking a little frustrated at the end of the half on the bench. What did you tell them at the break?
Well, we just need to get calm. We need to calm down a little bit and not let the things, in the game kind of bug us and stuff like that. Not only the kids, we all need to calm down, and we'll see what happens. We still got to have. I'm really thinking about it. I told the kids, I said, as bad as you guys played, we're only down 13-0 this game. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we're going to make our adjustments and get it going.
Maurice Drew, you knew he was going to be a key to this football game. He has 106 yards so far. What kind of adjustments are you going to make on him?
Well, it's just a matter of tackling him. I think that's the main thing. Our guys ain't tackling Drew, and we knew already coming in we were going to have trouble tackling him. So we're telling our guys to go low on him, but I guess they have to experience to believe it. So hopefully, they're going to get that done.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Waddy tackling execution once again.
Yeah, Raul Lara continues with the party line, and he's trying to be calm and collected, but he hasn't seen this. Look at the time of possession, just about equal. Now go up to total yards. What happened there?
Well, Jim, I can tell you, it's been the penalties, to me, in the first half have really been the Achilles heel for Long Beach Poly because they can't afford to make mistakes. They have to work on short possessions. They have to get short fields. In order to do that, you cannot have penalties.
Well, what jumps out at me right there are the rushing yards. 2 yards rushing for Long Beach Poly, and you would have thought coming into this game that they might try to wear down the defensive front of the De La Salle Spartans by running the ball and pounding the ball. But obviously, Leon Jackson figuring into their plans because of how well he can throw the football and how well he understands this offense.
Maurice Drew officially 91 yards in that first half, and he's obviously the difference. And guys, even when he's not touching the football, well, he's taking away defensive attention.
Yeah, Jim, the Long Beach Poly game plan is obviously to stop him, and you saw how De La Salle took advantage of that in the first quarter, in the first half, when they distribute the ball to the rest of the skill position. So it's going to be important for Long Beach Poly to make sure they keep him in check because De La Salle obviously wants to use him, but more importantly, they have to tackle.
Yeah, you got to tackle, but the first part of your statement, you got to make sure you keep that guy in check. Can you really keep him in check, or is he just that talented? Is he something that you've never seen before? And then with the added wrinkles on the offense, that they have done some things, empty backfield, different formations, different motions. They've really done a great job keeping the Poly defense off balance.
All right, I found out in the first half that the football acumen that you two possess is questionable at best. So now I'm going to ask you, if you're Raul Laura, what do you do with your offense in the second half? Because the De La Salle secondary has been outstanding. That is the key, in my opinion, of this football game.
Well, you've got to try to mix it up. I mean, now is not the time to decide, okay, now we're going to pound it out and wear you down. You've already made the decision. You're going to have to throw the football and score a couple of touchdowns. You're going to have to change up some things, change some different routes. You've got to try to use some formations. You've got to adjust at halftime from what you did initially in the first half.
Yeah, but Mike, I think they still need to stay with that run game, stay with their game plan, because when they turn into strictly a pass offense, we've seen that it is ineffective. They need to balance the offense, but most importantly, they've got to get some semblance of a running game started.
Derek Jones, who you just saw, has an 81-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and this one goes out of the end zone. Tony Binswanger. So why didn't they let him kick field goals?
He was out of his range?
Because you said to go deep?
That's right.
He was in range when he got off the bus. We were at practice watching Binswanger kick. How far was he, Mike? 50?
Yeah, he's 50, and it's not a problem for him. And that's a kid right there. You know, go give him a scholarship right now. If I'm a head football coach, I'm standing outside the locker room with a piece of paper. Here, sign this. It's a bus token, whatever. Just get him into your school.
That's a kid who punts the ball 43 yards on average. And as we said, we watched him kick 50-yarders without a lot of effort. Somebody should pick him up. Long Beach Poly with 2 yards rushing in the first half starts the second half on the ground. But reflecting Raul Lara, we talked about patience.
Well, you got to be patient, but then you look at Eric Sandy there making that play. He is really the heir apparent to that Derek Landry role. You know, you've got to have your rich stud lineman for the Spartans, and Derek Landry was that guy. And we talked to the coach yesterday about how these guys mentor one another, how it was Derek Landry who taught Eric Sandy how you've got to play offensive and defensive line.
Derek Jones and Alex Watson spreading out to their spots wide, and a timeout by Long Beach Poly. And you can see the frustration on the face of Leon Jackson right there, just shaking his head. Guys, they just had 15 minutes to talk about what they wanted to do in the second half. They snapped the ball one time and burn a timeout.
Yeah, Jim, and it's just confusing. It didn't look like they had the right personnel in for the play that they wanted to run, so the coaching staff chose to use a timeout there, make sure they're in the right play. But that's something you don't want, especially in the second half where timeouts could play such a key role.
Well, and if you can, you don't want to show the frustration that you alluded to, Jim. You want to let everybody think that everything is okay, but Leon Jackson obviously has had problems. When I've watched him in person and at practice, I have seen him run this offense. I've seen him because he knows what to do. He knows the right personnel. So he will be frustrated if somebody around him doesn't know it, because I think it comes pretty easily to him.
We showed you the rankings earlier, number 1 and number 2. This is the way it breaks down through the top 10. De La Salle has been in the number 1 position for as long as I can remember. Every now and then somebody from Georgia or Oklahoma, maybe Jenks or somebody from Texas will sneak up close to them, but no one has been able to unseat the Spartans as the top team in the country. And Long Beach Poly has been able to rise as far as number 2. And you get a look how it spreads out across the rest of the country.
And Jim, I'll tell you what it is De La Salle, every year you just don't think they can come back with the same team they had the year before. But Coach Lattisaur has proven you can take players, develop them over the course of time, and stay consistent and develop a winning program that never loses.
It's not the cast, JJ, it's the play. It's written well. Out in the flat, Leon Jackson wants to throw this football. You can see that he wants to go to the air. He wants to get back into this game. Jeremiah Tola-Umu with the catch and the carry for the Jackrabbits, possibly their biggest play of the afternoon.
Got a little roll on the right. Leon Jackson, he's on the move, and the defense goes to the left, so he gets the open man there. Nice throw on the run, and then Tola-Umu, when he gets the football, does some nice running downfield. Those yards after catch are so important when you're trying to get back in the game.
So it's a first down for Poly at the 47. Lorenzo Bersi on the pitch. Parker Hanks, the tackle for De La Salle. Leon Jackson, the quarterback for Long Beach Poly, has already had some interest. Washington State is on this young man. Kansas is looking at him. Ironically, He wants to play at Cal. He wants to play on this field right now.
Yeah, and they just got to the Cal coaches and let them know of his interest in Cal. I think you're crazy to pass on a kid like this. He has the maturity, he has the poise, the demeanor that it takes to be a winning quarterback in college football.
Jackson to throw, a little pressure coming, he dumps it off. Tolaumu, his second catch inside the 40, drags the tackler. Now, keep in mind that Maurice Drew goes both ways for De La Salle, but they said, hey, we're going to have to spell him on defense. He's not in there right now.
Yeah, you have to give Drew a break, Jim, but Long Beach Poly has given De La Salle a dose of their own medicine. Now they're distributing the ball to different players and allowing other players to make plays. Tolaumu, not a big name coming into this game. So far, he's made the 2 biggest plays for Long Beach Poly in this game.
By the way, Drew is looking at Cal as well for college. Hitting the backfield, it's now looks like Kaufman.
Yeah, Kavanaugh. Matt Kavanaugh, the strong safety, and De La Salle team runs a 4-4 front, so the strong safety is always up in the mix to stop the running game.
And obviously that gives you a numbers advantage when you've got him out there, but can you suck him in on play action? That's something that you've got to talk about to your quarterback when he's on the sideline.
Second down and 11, Jackson again to throw. Pressure coming, and he steps up in the pocket and goes for the post, and it's covered well. 3 Spartans all over it. Colvin was there, Bates was there.
And Jim, I tell you, the De La Salle defensive coordinator, Terry Edson, he's watched all the film. He knows that Long Beach Poly is going to test you deep and down the middle. They have Bates deep, playing center field. He's right there. There's no way you're going to get that post in today.
Jackie Bates just waiting for that football to come down, and Colvin was all over the receiver.
Well, I mean, there is that in the back of your mind. You know, don't let these guys pop right back into it with a quick score. Make them come underneath. Make them work for it. And I think that Leon Jackson needs to show the patience that it's going to take to attack that defense.
It's third down and 11. Maurice Drew is back in defensively for the Spartans. They know it's a big play. Well, Morris in motion. Percy stays in to protect. In and out of the hands. Derek Jones. Check it, it was Watson, the intended receiver. Doesn't matter, it's still an incompleted pass. It'll fourth down and 11 for Long Beach Poly. Too early to go, right guys?
Absolutely. JJ, what does it say to you when a quarterback, a lot of his throws are high? Does it say to you that he's trying to press it a little bit?
Yeah, he's either trying to throw the ball too hard and his ball's going to sail on you, but most importantly for Leon Jackson, he has to make sure that he gets a passing lane to throw through. Right now, De La Salle doing a good job of keeping their lanes on the pass rush.
Jackson to punt, trying to keep it away from Maurice Drew, and he does a good job of that. This ball lands at the 7 and stays out of the end zone on the 1 yard line. Now that is exactly the way you practice it. The De La Salle fans want a touchback. I think it was a clean play. They keep it out of the end zone, and so the Spartans will start with their worst field position of the day, the worst you can, at their own 1 yard line with a 13-0 lead.
All over America, people are throwing out their cable boxes and switching to DirecTV. That's because right now, when you call the number on your screen, you can get a free 2-room DirecTV system with professional installation. That's right, get a DirecTV system with the standard professional installation, a $250 value when you call Prime TV now. With DirecTV, you get access to over 225 available channels. And favorites like NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 14 of your favorite NFL games every Sunday throughout the regular season. And most importantly, you get access to your favorite local channels too. So you can say goodbye to your cable company forever and hello to more channels at lower prices with DirecTV. Just pick up the phone and call the number on your screen for your DirecTV system now. Offer ends November 15th, 2002. Don't miss this opportunity. So call now.
October's magical matchups continue. The mystique of Favre, the magic of Brady. A potent Packer offense takes aim at the defending champion Patriots. October's magical matchups this week on Fox.
The NFL Show. Join Michael Irvin, Tony Siragusa, and comedian Tommy Davidson. It's more than just a pregame show. The NFL Show on Fox Sports Net.
Back at Strawberry Canyon on campus at Cal. It's our high school football game of the week. Number 1 and number 2 in the nation. De La Salle leads 13-0 with 9:24 to play in the third quarter. But De La Salle now will start this drive on their own 1-yard line after a great punt by Leon Jackson that was down right before it rolled into the end zone. Pressure is on both sides here. A good opportunity for the Long Beach Poly defensive front.
They've got a chance to try to show their physical superiority, and it is. But physical superiority by itself is not going to do it if you don't have good technique and you're not going to work as hard as you should. You look at the D-line, you look at their average, 6'4", 263 pounds. De La Salle's O-line, 6 foot, 225, and I'm not sure if that's accurate.
A couple of yards out to the 3, and De La Salle going to be conservative. And there's that front 4 of Long Beach Poly. Busting through was Josh Tavanu'u.
Yeah, and Tavanu'u is a name that we need to call a lot if Long Beach Poly's defense is going to make a stand. You see that huge tackle right there. He was phenomenal earlier in the year against Kahuku, Jim. 10 tackles, had four sacks and 2 interceptions a year ago for Tavanu'u when he played defensive end. So he's a big mainstay on that line.
And there you see Frankie Saliusa, and he's not even a guy who starts on that defensive line and is as dominant a guy as you can find.
So now it's 3rd down and 8. Cecil going to throw from his own end zone. Fitzgerald with a fingertip grab. First down, De La Salle.
Let's talk about Brett Cecil a little bit more. Let's talk about being a clutch guy. He's done it with his feet. There's been times when the pocket has broke down. Now you've got 3rd down. You're deep in your own end of the field. The guy just sets down. Quick 3-step drop, bang, the ball's right where it's got to be, and your receiver comes up big time for you with a clutch catch.
Yeah, give Fitzgerald some credit. That's a slant in traffic that he had to expose his entire body to come up with that catch. That's a great catch.
First down at the 17. Misdirection. It's Bates, Jackie Bates picking up blockers, weaving his way. He finally gets dropped. Usually it's Parrish.
No,
that time was Simmons.
That's going to be Simmons, and you think there's not hard-hitting football in this game. Marvin Simmons.
And a nice block coming here. John Chan is going to get out there and get a nice block right there. Guys are on the ground. That helps, and that's something that these players at De La Salle understand, something the linemen have understood. Knock people down. They don't make a lot of tackles.
Marvin Simmons, of course, part of that great Simmons family.
Couple of those guys.
They're all linebackers. They're born linebackers, and he's got little brothers. He's got twin brothers below him on a lower level at Poly, and a couple below that down in Pop Warner football. Short gain to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, you talk about all the brothers. Marvin Simmons now played. Melvin Simmons, the starting linebacker at USC. Marvin was All-American here at Long Beach Poly. Now goes to Compton College. 2 twins, Marcel and Marcelo, play on the sophomore team. And as you mentioned, Jim, 2 other brothers that play Pop Warner. The problem is they're all linebackers. How can you have a good game if everybody's playing defense?
Oh, they're all mean, too, on the football field. Marlon Simmons with that last big hit. First down, though. Now De La Salle is going to get backed up. We did see a lot of penalties in the first half.
Yeah, that was, I think, was a Terrence Kelly, lined up at the tight end position, and I think that ball was going to him.
False start, offense. 5 yards, still first down.
That ball was going to him, Jim, because he took off the line like a rocket. You knew, anytime you're a receiver or a tight end and you take off that fast, you know the ball's coming to you.
Yeah, the Spartans use 2 tight ends. They use Terrence Kelly, who you saw, and they use Parker Hanks. When Parker Hanks is in there, they're probably going to run the ball. And when Terrence Kelly's in there, they're usually going to throw the ball and opt into him.
Fitzgerald at the top of the screen. Colvin at the bottom. Colvin ran a streak before and just ran by the secondary of Long Beach Poly. Go on the ground to Drew. Drew to the 27-yard line. I would think that if Long Beach Poly is going to get back into this football game, it's going to come on a defensive, big defensive play, an interception, a fumble, a big quarterback sack. It's got to come from the defense.
Yeah, you don't just you don't beat the champ without knocking him out. You've got to have something go in your favor, and they never got a break in last year's game. And as usual, the Spartans were very methodical in what they did. But now you're starting to see, I think they understand how to tackle in that last play. Go down, grab that guy around the ankles. Don't go around his waist where he's so powerful.
Second down and 12 after the loss. Football is on the ground, and Cecil able to get back to it. So Long Beach Poly, just for a moment, the door opened up. Cecil was able to get back on it.
And that's the scary part of running any kind of an option offense, is that there's a lot of ball handling, there's a lot of things that come. You know, if you're the dive back, you don't know whether you're going to get the ball or not. You assume that you are. Sometimes it comes in there, sometimes it doesn't come in there. So you don't know, and you don't have the certainty, whereas if you're a true tailback and they call your number, you know you're getting it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a high-risk offense, and that's why it is so successful. Anything with high risk obviously pays big dividends, but that's why Bob Ladouceur teaches perfection.
Rodney Van is on Colvin at the top of the screen, and Colvin is going deep. They throw underneath instead. Wide open is Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald streaking towards the end zone, needs a block. Fitzgerald is going to score. Touchdown, De La Salle.
Man, Jim, they told us they had good receivers on this team, as good as they've had at any time. And you see Fitzgerald run a corner route. He's wide open. That's a blown coverage, and then he makes everything else happen himself. One move on the free safety, and he'll go untouched into the end zone. De La Salle has now broken this game open.
Let's see, who had DeMonte Fitzgerald in the pool?
That's me.
I think I had him, didn't I? De La Salle is going to go for two. Up 19-0, they go for two. Cecil, and he's in. It's 21-0. And keep one thing in mind. De La Salle just took the football and drove 99 yards for a touchdown. That's gotta hurt. A 74-yard touchdown. Britt Cecil to DeMonte Fitzgerald. 21-0, De La Salle.
Please welcome NBA All-Star Jerry Stackhouse.
They fight to make a difference. They dare to change their world.
I can't really say I've ever had a role model. Well, now I've got one. Thank you.
But this month,
rumor has it that the students are planning something.
Their dreams are about to shatter.
This walkout is about the students' power.
This is about outrage.
Things need to change.
Shut up.
Will you shut up? People, let's calm down!
The new season of Boston Public. This month on Fox.
You gotta help me with my wardrobe here, Mike.
Yeah,
you need some help. You gotta look good.
Right.
Saturday night, you gotta look good, man.
Right, everybody.
Right, Mike's gonna pick out some stuff. Thanks. Goose, I think you look good in some tights. Super 100s, Super 120s? Super 120s got it. Good. Ain't you got anything with some style?
What you need is just stretch. Do you have any stretch material?
Whole lot of stretch.
Just a whole lot of stretch.
The NFL Show with Irvin, Siragusa, and Davidson tonight and tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
The red flowing stuff.
We doing an NFL show or we gypsies? What's going on?
You're watching Fox Sports Net 2.
The party's been going on since December of 1991. That was the last time De La Salle lost a football game, and it's because of plays like this. Britt Cecil rolls soft to his left and throws underneath to DeMonte Fitzgerald, and then it's a track meet. Nobody is going to catch him. Downfield blocking. Fitzgerald is fast and smart. Eludes the last Pauly Jackrabbit who had fallen down. 74 yards, and Britt Cecil has now thrown for 200 yards He's 11 for 17.
Yeah, Jim, but give Bob Lattisaurus some credit. The play calling in this game for De La Salle has been phenomenal. He's thrown it when they've had to. He's run it when they've had to. That was just a situation where they had 3 defensive backs in the secondary, not enough to cover the receivers.
But you talk about the little things that happen. DeMonte Fitzgerald doesn't try to outrun the defender. In fact, he runs the defender because he's got Aaron Bradley down the field making a block, and that's what turned it into a touchdown.
Dwayne Washington is now back deep for Long Beach Poly. I don't know why you make a substitution there because nobody can return this kickoff. They've only been able to return 1 kickoff. That was the opener when Binswanger just dribbled one through.
Maybe you could get your front line to kind of do one of those formations things, you know, like the synchronized swimming. They could go dance around a little bit because you're obviously never going to have to go down and cover one of those.
Let's get down to Sean Farm, who has more on the kicker from De La Salle.
You know what's an amazing story about Tony Binswanger is that they do not have a kicking coach at De La Salle. Terry Edson is the closest thing they have to a kicking coach. So what happened? Over the summer, he met with Minnesota Viking kicker and De La Salle alumnus Doug Bryan, who taught him the basics. He also went to the Notre Dame University kicking camp, and he's turned that raw talent into raw skill.
That guy is going to end up on the college level. Dwayne Washington, who I don't think got a carry in the first half. And he's tripped up by Chris Mulvaney. Mulvaney has done an excellent job at defensive end.
Yeah, Mulvaney is a guy that when you think about, is he physically impressive? Not necessarily, but does he do the things he's got to do? He's got those 2 sacks, and there, he just runs them down. It's a lot of desire that you're seeing by a defensive football player.
He came a long way. He came all the way through the backfield.
Yeah, and what they're doing, Jim, is they're shooting the gaps behind the pulling offensive linemen. So if they see the guard pull, well, that's obviously going to leave a void in the offensive line. Mulvaney does a nice job that time of trailing the play and bringing down the running back from behind.
Bo Morris, the only guy behind Leon Jackson. Last year when Long Beach Poly got down in that 3rd quarter, they emotionally quit on the game. But they're coming back right here. Jackson to Alex Watson. You could see it last year, Mike, when Poly got down and they didn't know how to respond and they felt that they were the lesser team on the field. Their shoulders hunched. Nobody was talking to each other. Then they began to argue amongst themselves. They're right at that precipice again.
Well, I think that's why you talk about the different personalities between the team from last year to this year. This is a much tighter group. Not a lot of stars, not a lot of people look for attraction. And Bob Lattisaurus talked about that. He said that scared them a little bit. The fact that they did seem so selfless and some of the things that they said in the media.
Percy's in the slot. Percy was open, but Jackson couldn't see him, couldn't get to him. Now Jackson's going to run it. And Jackson out near midfield, so a nifty little pickup when the protection finally broke down. But again, the De La Salle secondary equal to the task.
Yeah, good coverage in the secondary, Jim. But you talk about Long Beach Poly and what they have to do to come back in this game. In comparison to a year ago, they have a better quarterback. Leon Jackson can throw the ball. He can get the ball downfield. Not to take anything away from Brandon Brooks. He was a great quarterback last year, but he was more of a running type of quarterback. Leon Jackson has the arm, has the ability to bring them back in this situation.
Same formation, trips at the top of the screen. 2nd down and short, 2nd and 2, and they will throw, taking an opportunity. That ball's overthrown and almost intercepted. Wanted to go to Watson, and it was almost picked off by Willie Glasper. Again, just a little bit high from Leon Jackson.
I think the game plan for Long Beach Poly is to work the intermediate routes. The De La Salle secondary is deep, extremely deep, and they have good speed too. So you're not going to really beat them vertically right now. You're going to have to hit them in between the zones.
Well, you're going to do that, and I think the other thing that Leon Jackson's got to do, and he has made this adjustment, a lot of times he's got caught in the pocket and been thrown for a loss. Now he's starting to work the perimeter a little bit, starting to get out of bounds and pick up positive yardage when there is not something there for him versus the Spartan secondary.
So now it's 3rd down and 2, and Poly just concerned with trying to get that 1st down, but a flag and a whistle before the snap. Now Poly's walking backwards, so it must be procedure.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
So here they were with a 2nd and 2. They take their shot downfield, and then Laura says, okay, it's 3rd and 2, we'll just get our 1st down, and now another penalty, and now 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Jimmy, we sound like a broken record up here, but the penalties, although there's only 5, that's not a lot of penalties for this point in the game, but they've been at critical situations. Every time they have short yardage or pick up a big gain, they get those plays negated.
Watson and Derek Jones, the wideouts. Play action. He wants Watson. Throws well over his head. Both Watson and Jones crossed and ran into each other. And now they turn to look at each other, and Jackson is hot.
Yeah, he's yelling at the receivers because somebody ran obviously the wrong route. There aren't plays designed to have two players in the same area. As you mentioned, Jim, that time Jones and Watson in the same place.
Well, I mean, they're both running digs. You know, you can't run a dig from the right and a dig from the left and end up the middle, because now the fact not only are you going to run into each other, but you bring all the defenders there, and you're lucky as a quarterback if you don't get it picked off.
So 2nd and 2 turns into 4th and 7, and Long Beach Poly down 21-0 is going. So Raul Laura is going to roll the dice early, and he says, I'm not getting down by more than this. Jackson with the pressure. Incomplete. De La Salle will take over. Penalty flag all the way over on the opposite side of the field. And Poly could use a break, huh?
I don't think they're going to get a break.
Procedure. Offense, penalty decline. First down.
And Don Scott, our referee, looked almost sympathetic to Long Beach Poly in making that call. Let's go down to Lindsay.
Waddy, I don't know what that De La Salle sideline is like, but this Poly defense is exhausted. They came off of the field after their last series. 3 of them dropped straight to the ground, most notably Rodney Van. He seems to have heat stroke. He was out of breath, having trouble breathing. They were icing him down with towels. He's going back in now. Marlon Simmons was down on the ground. His leg was really tight. He said he was having trouble running. All of these guys are exhausted. They're worn out. Sean, what's it like over there?
Well, over here on this sideline, it's all Mike Blasquez's conditioning program. It's worked out perfectly. The guys are standing up, they're fired up as Maurice Drew gets out of bounds. Outstanding, they're all standing up, they're all ready to play. They're all talking about how they're going to finish out this game. Last year they only had 13 yards in the 3rd quarter. Today they've obviously beaten that with the 99-yard drive. Jim, back to you.
Yeah, it's an important part of the game. And Mike, last year, you remember, we had talked about all the guys for De La Salle going both ways. And we saw Derek Lantry, and he was huffing and puffing, the big lineman for De La Salle, has now gone on to Notre Dame. But actually, Long Beach Poly had to take some fluids at halftime of that game, too.
Well, I mean, you're both playing in this game, but it's always surprising when you've got 2 platoons on Poly, and you got guys who are going both ways for the Spartans, and they're able to hang.
And Cecil's going to throw. And he's got a man again. Touchdown, De La Salle. That may have been the knockout punch, guys.
I don't think there's much doubt.
It's Terrence Kelly, the tight end.
And I will tell you this again. This is the 2nd touchdown pass in a row where Aaron Bradley is down the field and he springs the block. It's routine, it's pitch and catch, and you're running down the field. And watch what comes into your screen here. Aaron Bradley with that block right there at the end, that gets the touchdown.
Reaction from Brett Cecil, unbelievable. He's had a great day today, and you talk about who is going to be the Maurice Drew of 2002. Well, I got to say, it's Brett Cecil.
I agree with it, JJ. 3rd touchdown pass of the day. And now it is 28-0. Well, I got to tell you, coming in, we knew what De La Salle had. We knew about it from last year. We fell into that looking at the 2 practices. We thought, oh, Poly's got all these athletes. They're going to end the streak. And then De La Salle came in methodically and surgically and beat Long Beach Poly. Same situation this year.
It defies all logic. It defies physics. It defies gamesmanship. When you look at Poly and you look at the athletes that they have got, and then you go and look at the athletes that the Spartans have, you think to yourself, you know, the eyeball test, on paper, there's just no way. But then there's something different. And it is the fact that when you've won over 10 years in a row and you haven't lost a football game, this thing, I think, has taken on a life of its own. I think there's a legacy involved here from the old players to the new players.
How happy are you for that young man? And we're not rooting for one side or the other, but Brett Cecil, all he heard all year, all week is, you're not Matt Gutierrez. No, he's not. But he's thrown 3 touchdown passes in the biggest game of his life, and he has not thrown an interception. He's not made a big mistake.
I think it goes back to the legacy that we were just talking about. The fact that now, when you play for the Spartans, you feel as though you just got to wait for your turn, that it's going to happen for you. And you see it happen time and time again. And right now, Brett Cecil is the living embodiment of that.
You know, Brett Cecil, when I talked to him at practice, he said he learned a lot watching Matt Gutierrez, and he told me that he speaks to Matt Gutierrez all the time, that Matt had called him. Matt's at the University of Michigan now. Called him and talked with him over the phone about what it means to be a Spartan, what it means to be the quarterback at De La Salle. And I think it meant a lot to that young man that the hero, Matt Gutierrez, was calling him and helping him out.
He also calls Matt Gutierrez for grooming tips. They both keep it very, very short.
Another kickoff sails into the end zone. High school football, you cannot run it out. Now, if you're interested in football at all levels, we've got 4 big sites for you. And here they are, wearesc.com, BruinReportOnline.com, LATimes.com, and FoxSports.com on Lycos.
Oh, man, well, this has just been a tremendous effort from the De La Salle Spartans. The one thing, though, we talked about it before the game is, remember, Long Beach Poly took a bus here yesterday, Mike. They took a bus, 7 o'clock in the morning, got here about 2:30, and they just don't look fresh, or they don't have any life in their legs right now.
Jackson to throw again. Now they have to throw just about every down, which means that De La Salle has the option of blitzing. Going to bring in maybe a nickel package and just smother everybody.
And that's not to take anything away from the way the De La Salle's played today, because I don't think any high school team beats them today. But the one thing is, Long Beach Poly, you just wonder if they would have had, you knew they had to play a perfect game, and I don't think they were ready to do that.
Well, you know, you start to look at De La Salle and you think, you know, are they ever going to lose another game?
You got 129 more.
Jackson into the flat, Bursey cuts back. Bursey to midfield and to the 47-yard line. And if you're a Poly fan, the first thing you do is look back to see if there's a flag, and there wasn't one.
Yeah, I think they got lucky because that time Watson was blocking on the perimeter. You heard a groan from the crowd. Everybody thought that was a takedown on the outside. The receivers, they don't hold, Mike. They keep their hands inside and form block just fine.
I don't care if they hold. Nothing wrong holding.
Movement for De La Salle, a little hop. The left defensive end, I think it was Mulvaney. Let's see if he was drawn off. Poly's applauding.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense. First down.
All right, so now it's 1st and 5.
And Mulvaney really is having a big day. We talked about the couple sacks he came up with on the blitz. You talk about some of the plays he's made against the run. And Bob Ladouceur said something yesterday that really stuck with me. He said, you know, we're very Spartan-like around here. We're a lot like our mascot. And it proved to be true.
Yeah, their work ethic, their approach, and their blitz, too. That was Mike Pattori.
Yeah, Pattori, the defensive tackle. You see the swim move, Jim? That's a great move that he put on Kevin Brown, the offensive guard. He used the swim move to perfection that time and used his quickness. That's really been the tale of this game when offensive and defensive line. Long Beach Poly much bigger, but today De La Salle much quicker.
Yeah, but a swim move, I mean, you talk about a rudimentary pass rush move.
That's right.
Something you should be able to stop.
That's old school.
28-0 De La Salle. 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. And a pretty good effort here.
This big run, Anthony Baker.
And Maurice Drew on the tackle, a little slow getting up.
That's really what you'd like to have seen a lot more out of Poly, getting a little push up front, trying to do those things with the physical prowess that you've got, and you know, now it's just too late to try to do that.
Baker stays in the game as the I-man. Again, 3 receivers to the top, and you wonder, is Jackson going to reach the end zone? Grabbed by the foot and just gets rid of it. Mulvaney again was in. Chris Mulvaney having a pretty good day?
Oh, a great day, Jim. But the thing is Long Beach Poly has to eliminate pressure on the quarterback when De La Salle's only rushing 4 guys. They're not blitzing now. They're just running their base offense, and they're getting to Leon Jackson.
Well, they're rushing 4 guys that are going both ways. I mean, that really compounds it in your mind. How are they able to do that? How are they able to get that pressure on the quarterback. And, when you talk about rhythm, and that's what you've got to have as a quarterback, I don't think Leon Jackson has felt as though he's gotten his rhythm today.
2nd and 10 at the 34. And Jackson's been frustrated the entire afternoon. He's hit from behind, but manages to deliver this ball on target. It's caught. It's Alex Watson. Watson inside the 20-yard line. Damon Jenkins eventually put him down. Deepest penetration by Long Beach Poly all day long.
Turn up field, man. Turn up field. You do not run sideways and start going backwards. When you make the catch, that's great. You've gotten open and run your pattern. Now you got to turn up field, not sideways. He ends up losing yardage at the end of this run after the catch.
First down at the 18. Jackson looking around, and there's confusion again for Poly. Khalid Abdul-Rahim at the top of the screen is looking at Jackson. They're having a conversation. And now he throws to him. At the 11, one-on-one. Rahim to the 1-yard line. Well, you had to figure it was going to him because Jackson was unhappy with where he was lined up, adjusted him, then just turned and threw it to him.
But he showed great senior leadership, Jim, and poise. When he didn't have the play he wanted, he was patient. He knows they're a no-huddle offense. There's plenty of time. There's no need to rush. Take your time, get your team in the right play. He saw a void on the right side, the corner with a lot of cushion. He just throws the hitch route, and now they have the ball on the 1.
And one observation I've made about Leon Jackson is that when he checks out of a play, when he has an audible in mind, it's usually the right one, gets to the right play, and it usually goes to Khalid Abdul-Rahim.
From the 1-yard line, and Long Beach Poly is running guys in and out. They didn't have the right personnel. Bo Morris, the only guy behind Jackson, stumbles and isn't going to get there. Well, coming in quickly was Parker Hanks, but Bo Morris made his job easier by stumbling out of his stance.
When you see the fact there are guys running in and out, personnel coming in and out, it tells you that offensively you're probably going to have a tentative play, that you're not sure of what you're doing. Conversely, when you look at the other side, Maurice Drew, not a tentative guy. Maurice Drew ready to come in and make a play.
They put it on the ground, and it's picked up by Maurice Drew. And I'll tell you what, they grabbed him by the foot, or Maurice Drew would have lit this place on fire going end to end.
I'll tell you what, if I ever had to coach against Maurice Drew, I would bring a big bag of kryptonite with me. Because this guy is unbelievable on offense, on defense. JJ, you said it at the top of the show. This is a guy that can kill you anyway on offense, defense, special teams, and he does it there. Defensively, when all everybody talks about is what he has done offensively.
Yeah, he's no question a big impact player, but once again, Long Beach Poly miscues. De La Salle, time and time again, has taken advantage of him.
Now De La Salle goes to Glassboro on the ground, and you figure now De La Salle has got plenty. Defensively, they're in control, and of course they have Maurice Drew. And when I gave that sack to Parker Hanks, it was actually Maurice Drew. Then the second play, he comes right back and picks the football up off the ground.
The Los Angeles Lakers are champions you can count on. 1, 2, 3. Celebrate the Lakers' 3 straight NBA championships with Sports Illustrated's Triple Thrill Pack, featuring the official NBA Finals 2002 home video, plus this special Sports Illustrated hardbound commemorative edition. Both championship gifts are free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Week after week, game after game, nobody beats Sports Illustrated. Call now and share the thrills and emotion of an amazing season as the star-studded Lakers give you an inside look at what it took to win 3 straight NBA championships, and you get it all the way you want it on DVD or VHS. It's your choice, and it's free. Call now to get the exclusive Sports Illustrated Triple Thrill Pack free, including this special hardbound collector's edition. Individually numbered and highlighted with gold lettering, this colorful keepsake captures the Lakers at their championship best. Reach for the stars. Call now for your official NBA championship home video and special hardbound tribute, both free with your paid order of 55 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.59 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. This terrific Sports Illustrated sweatshirt is also free when you use your credit card. This heavyweight sweatshirt is extra large and extra special, the perfect fit for a sports fan, and it's only available from Sports Illustrated. Free. Call now to get your exclusive Sports Illustrated Triple Thrill Pack, your official NBA Championship home video, the colorful Sports Illustrated commemorative, and the great Sports Illustrated sweatshirt. All three are free from Sports Illustrated and no one else. This is where the champions are. Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
I'm Jim Rome. Next week on The Last Word, my guests will include Miami Hurricanes head coach Larry Coker, perennial Tour de France winner Lance Armstrong, and Golden State Warriors new executive Chris Mullin. Last Word, weeknights at 10:30, Fox Sports Net.
The NFL Show, a 90-minute party sure to make your head spin. Join NFL greats Michael Irvin and Tony Siragusa along with comedian Tommy Davidson.
I am fired up.
It's more than just a pregame show. The NFL Show on Fox Sports Net.
28-0 De La Salle. At the start of this game, when we talked about Maurice Drew, Long Beach Poly answered back by saying, Drew, who? Well, Maurice Drew, once again, has answered that question. On the ground, 111 yards, another 15 yards through the air. Remember, this is the guy who scored 4 touchdowns in last year's big game and started it all off by flipping off Long Beach Poly on that first touchdown, where he vaulted himself in the 2-yard line and did a flip into the end zone. Maurice Drew has been unstoppable, and now on the defensive side of the ball, he's having an impact as well.
Yeah, look at his rushing yards, 111 for Drew to only 18 for Long Beach Poly, Jim. But that's one thing that you'll learn is before the game, all the trash talking doesn't count.
No.
It's what you do in between the lines, and trust me, Freddie Parrish will learn that when he goes to Notre Dame and plays for Ty Willingham.
Junior Limau wraps up Brett Cecil. And look at the demeanor of Long Beach Poly, especially the defense, which is just exhausted. They have been out there all day long. It is a warm day, but it's not even that. It's just that De La Salle continues to just pound them and then throw over them.
I was going to say, is it exhaustion or is it their body language that you're reading? The fact that they're dejected, the fact that their hopes were even higher this year, that they understood what it was going to take to compete with the Spartans of De La Salle, and they're realizing that they don't.
Absolutely, Mike, I agree with you. Long Beach Poly's been thinking about this game since last year's game ended. And you wondered if maybe they cranked themselves up a little bit too much. They were a little tight coming in. We were at practice with De La Salle yesterday. They looked like a team that was about to play the #2 team in the country. They were having a good time.
They're a loose group, you know, and not to say that in a sense where they're not disciplined, because obviously they are, but they have things in perspective. I think Bob Ladouceur does a good job of that, not trying to make this out with life and death metaphors. He just says, hey, it's just a game. If we lose, we lose.
This punt squirts out across the 30 to about the 45-yard line. It's going to turn out all right. Let's go down to Sean Farnham, a De La Salle alum.
You know, I am a De La Salle alumni, and I'm standing right now with the principal of De La Salle, Brother Chris. Can you talk about the community of this school and how proud you are to see former players like Nick Holtz, now at Colorado, back on the sideline here today?
Sean, it's a great opportunity. One of the things we work real hard at De La Salle is building a whole sense of family spirit. From the time they enroll as freshmen through their senior year, we work on the family attitude and spirit. Graduates come back, it's just something we expect.
You know, we're sitting here, we look at all of these fans up here in the stands. They're all here for De La Salle. They're all here watching these guys play with great sportsmanship. What's that like for you?
It's just a part of the tip of the iceberg, because what you see on the field this afternoon, these student athletes represent a student body. It's just filled with other young men like this. So they're just kind of indicative of what you find on campus every day.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Back to you, Jim.
Brother Christopher Brady from De La Salle, and we want to thank both schools for all that they've done for us during the week. Both of the administrations, of course, Bob Ladouceur and his staff at De La Salle, Raul Laura and his staff at Long Beach Poly, for opening things up to us, letting us stand really in their huddles during practice so we understand exactly what's going on in this game. Second down for Poly. That's Anthony Baker again. And Baker's had about as much success as anybody for Poly on the ground.
Jim, you mentioned our visits to both schools. It has been really a great week, and although the score does not show 1 versus 2, these are the #1 and #2 first-class programs that we get the chance to visit.
Well, what the score is indicative of, a really, really, really good number one, okay? And I don't think there's much arguing with how good they are. And they have, to their credit, taken on all comers while this streak has continued.
Jackson to throw again. Looks only to the right side, throws to Watson at the 30. Watson breaks the tackle and out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Looks like we have another penalty flag down.
Right down to where the tackle was made.
You can hear some of the coaches on the sideline talking about guys cramping up. And something that you would have anticipated in a game like this. But a lot of players for the Spartans have got to go both ways, playing a lot. And I think it's true with the Poly players too, because of what Lindsay has said on that sideline. They are dog tired.
Well, the penalty was illegal use of hands, and I think it might have been Khalid Abdur-Rahim, the wide receiver for Poly, trying to block downfield.
Offense.
Raul Lara's just got to be so frustrated. You guys, 16-1 coming into this game. The only loss was against De La Salle. And then they went on and won the CIF Division I championship again down there. And this is a guy who's under a lot of pressure because people expect Poly to win every year.
Yeah, Jim, this is a huge game for Long Beach Poly. But Coach Laura, I think the frustration comes in is that you prepare so hard and then you come out and then your team doesn't play their best game. Now, we knew they had to play their best game, and he thought that last year's game would serve as a learning experience. They would learn from how to deal with adversity. They'd learn how to play in a big game. They just haven't responded today.
But is there really that much pressure on him? I mean, in his rookie year as a head coach, he wins the CIF championship. And, I mean, understand, there are just things in life. There are things that you can't stop, that you can't beat, and sometimes you just got to accept the fact that you're not going to be able to overcome that. There haven't been a lot of other teams that have been able to overcome the Spartans. You go back to, 1991, Jim, and it was Pittsburgh, and they weren't supposed to win it. So, I mean, you still have to give credit to Raul Laura and his program. I think he's done a good job, and I think he's put together a great team this year.
And Raul Laura, of course, knows about the Poly system. He played there as a linebacker, and he was an assistant coach for many, many years, so he knew exactly what he was getting into. And now he's got to think about it. And by the way, these two schools will not play the next 2 years, at least. Derek Jones, they try to get him the ball.
Yeah, Jim, I think that's really the worst news of the day is that we won't get a chance to see these two teams square off because this does match the two best teams in California and arguably the nation. And it's become like sort of a traditional annual matchup. De La Salle has taken on all comers. And we talked to Coach Ladasor about why is he taking on such a tough schedule. He said, he told us quite frank, he's not trying to protect the streak. He wants to defend it. So he's going to go out and play the best teams he can find.
Leon Jackson talking to his receivers out on the right side, and so he hands off. Drops it back to Dwayne Washington. And Washington inside the 20. Well, De La Salle obviously has proven that they are the #1 team in the nation today. They're going to win this football game. There's 9.5 minutes left. They're up 28-0. But what kind of a statement does it say that not only do you beat the #2 team in the nation, but you're shutting them out?
Yeah, that is, I mean, we never could have guessed that, Jim. All of us talked last night before the game. We thought this was no doubt going to be the best game of the year, close to the end. It just hasn't turned out that way.
Jackson going for Jones. And good coverage, incomplete. Damon Jenkins was right back there on Jones. That's a good matchup of two guys that will play on Saturday.
Never say die, huh? Throwing the fade in the corner of the end zone late in the game, JJ. You don't care. Just keep going at it. I think that's part of a message you've got to send as well. Raul Lara's got a lot at risk here in that you don't want your team to think about this game too much, and you don't want to let them think about quitting, and you got to send the message. We're going to continue to throw the ball. We're going to continue to do things to try to get in the end zone. I don't want to see quitting, you guys.
Well, it's not a league game, and remember, they can still win a CIF Southern Section Championship, which is the ultimate. And Raul Lara did a good job last year of rallying his guys when they lost to De La Salle. Here's a chance. Lorenzo Bersi reaches for the end zone. Touchdown, Long Beach Poly. So they avoid the shutout at least. And you can see by the lack of celebration And it's a little consolation for these guys who have come all the way up here.
Yeah, Jim, they're not real excited, but I tell you, this will go a long way for Coach Lara and his players. This builds character when you're down like this in a big game, for you to be able to rally your troops, and they face the ultimate adversity now to show no quit, drive down for a touchdown. That's a true testament to his coaching.
JJ, when you were playing at SC and you guys lost to Notre Dame, did you want to hear about character in the fourth quarter?
Hey, well, Jim, I wasn't down 28-0, so I was fighting down to the last second. I only had a couple losses to Notre Dame for the record.
How many times did you beat him?
A couple losses to Notre Dame for the record.
Did JJ's mic go out?
You want to talk about the UCLA game, maybe?
Here's the extra point. And it's good. And so it's 28-7. Nate Smith with the PAT for Long Beach Poly. But Leon Jackson and the rest of the Jackrabbits, not much else.
Yes, I like the dusty rose on you too. Oh, hello. Welcome back to Cat Chat. Today we're having a spa day, so let's all be extra quiet.
You thought I was bluffing? Try my new delicious taquitos with seasoned shredded beef and real cheddar cheese, or you're in for a cat chat-a-thon.
Shh. Ivanka is in her happy place. Who's next for a mani-pedi?
What is the ultimate race place? It is the heroes of the Kart FedEx Championship Series, the world's fastest racers on the world's fastest speedway, in the 500 presented by Toyota on Sunday, November 3rd. And Saturday, November 2nd will rock to the thunder of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and a live Saturday night performance by Berlin and The Fix. Order your tickets now on CaliforniaSpeedway.com or call 1-800-944-RACE. California Speedway, America's ultimate race place.
On the next Beyond the Glory, Michael Irvin's superstar lifestyle almost ruined a Hall of Fame career.
I don't know anything about anything.
Living the high life
He was caught up in the money, the women, the drugs.
and in constant trouble.
Why does this stuff keep happening to you?
But a brush with death made him turn things around.
I was so afraid of that pain.
Playmaker or troublemaker? Michael Irvin, Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Hey guys, let's not forget, man, this is the NFL show. And the NFL is hardcore, so we must stay hardcore. That's right. You know, Tom, you've been out here the longest. You gotta make sure that, me and Michael don't get caught up in that Hollywood stuff, you know?
You can count on me. If you guys fall off the wayside, just let me know, man.
Mike, I think I'm gonna get the either the polish or the clear. No, just get a nice buff.
Hey, guys, how about a bikini wax next?
The NFL Show with Irvin, Siragusa, and Davidson tonight and tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 8 and 11.
28-7 De La Salle coming into this game. The Spartans had not lost since December of 1991. That is 129 straight victories and counting. And we compared it at the top of the show. New York Giants back in 1916 with 26 straight games in Major League Baseball. Those Lakers, West, Goodrich, Chamberlain, 33. How about UCLA and Bill Walton? Went 88 until Notre Dame and Austin Carr beat them in South Bend. And Wilkinson and the Sooners with 47. How good is it, guys? I mean, it's only high school football, and people across the country who don't know will say, oh, they don't play anybody. They do.
Yeah, they do, Jim. And I tell you, this streak will never be duplicated in high school. And the main reason is because of all the high turnover. Remember, he's done this class after class after class since 1991. That means that every team is good. So it's not like he just had a small streak.
Long Beach Poly goes with the onside kick, and Alex Watson, or is it Rodney Van, with the catch. It's Rodney Van. Now that was done perfectly. That ball bounced right up. What do you call that, JJ? The candy bounce?
It was a candy hop, Jim. A little candy hop. Right into Van's hands, and now Long Beach Poly has it going. Unfortunately, it's when they were down 28-0.
Yeah, but it goes back to what we were talking about. Send the message that we're not going to quit. You know, you may be down 28-0. Let's score the touchdown. Let's go onside kick. I think that you're trying to prove to your team that you've got the mindset of a team that doesn't quit, that always competes, and that leads to championships. And, you know, when you talk about what Poly has done under Raul Laura, they're 1 for 1. 1 championship, 1 season.
All right, let's be realistic. There's 9 minutes and 1 second left. If they score quickly, I'll leave it at that. Baker Flag. And another flag. Damon Jenkins for De La Salle with a big hit.
The flag came from way back.
Blocking below the waist, so.
I didn't even know you could throw a flag that far.
Yeah, he did. He threw that flag about 20 yards in the air.
I think it goes to the point of consistency and what you see from the Spartans, how
Block
consistent they
below
are.
the waist on the offense. 15 yards, still first down.
And, you know, if I might use, you know, a golf analogy in that when you're trying to have a long drive, it's like, you know, putting 5 golf shots together or 10 golf shots together. It's a hard thing to do.
It's not that hard, is it?
Not for me.
1st and 25 for Long Beach Poly. Percy was drifting across the middle. He was covered. And they try to go to Watson. That ball knocked down, incomplete. Terrence Kelly with the defensive play for the Spartans. Let's go down to Lindsay.
You know, Jim, good grief, the Poly coach, Raul Laura, told us before the game he thought 4 touchdowns would do it. If you look at the score, it looks like it would. They'd have to get a 2-point conversion before touchdowns, so it looks like he was right on the money. This team is, to be honest, frustrated. They're exhausted, but they haven't given up. They're still talking about how they can do it on the sidelines. So if they get it going in this 4th quarter, you never know.
Well, they got the shutout taken off the board. That was the first thing. And they got the football back. But now they've been going backwards. Percy drifts behind Jackson. Play action. And he wants one deep down the sideline. He overthrows Watson. He's standing right there.
Go back to the point we talked about earlier. I have not seen Leon Jackson feeling very comfortable. He's not had a great pocket. At times he has, but it's been only a couple of times. I mean, it's in single digits. Usually there's somebody at him, coming at him, and he's been throwing off of balance.
Yeah, you look at the offensive numbers.
7 points, 45 yards, rushing, passing yard, 220, 3 sacks that they've given up, and the turnover. Very telling when you look at those numbers.
Did you think they had 220 yards through the air?
Yeah, that's why I sort of
Sounds like a
hesitated.
lot.
I looked at the numbers. I couldn't believe that was a lot, but they've been putting some yards up in this second half.
Jackson. There's time. Jackson with all kinds of company. And here they come. Mulvaney in his face, and he throws, and it's dropped. And now it's 4th down.
JJ talked about the lanes that everybody seems to be staying in. It's almost like kickoff coverage, even when the pocket breaks down and when Leon Jackson is able to scramble. Somebody's always there to make the play. He's not really able to break off any long runs, and that's the danger of having a mobile quarterback is when it breaks down, he can take off on you.
Yeah, but De La Salle has confidence in their secondary. Remember at the top, they told us that this might be the best secondary in the school's history, so in that case, you let them cover. You go ahead and put your pressure, don't let the quarterback beat you with his legs, cover him down the field. They've done just that. There's been no place to throw the ball for Leon Jackson.
Alex Watson was down on his face on the Long Beach Poly sideline. Let's just hope it's just cramps. They'll punt. Jackson. This ball bounces, and Drew just stays away from it. Dies at the 24. Well, October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox NFL Sunday, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. And then Terry Glenn returns to New England for the first time as the Packers battle Tom Brady and the Patriots, or the Panthers take on the Cowboys, or the Falcons take on the Giants. Coverage begins at 9 in the morning and only on Fox. Maurice Drew in the backfield behind Britt Cecil, who was thrown for 236 yards. And Cecil stays in, and Drew stays in. And this is Maurice Drew at his best. Maurice Drew is still on his feet. Now, how many guys touched Maurice Drew?
No quit, Jim, no quit. This is indicative of how Maurice Drew runs the ball. His legs never stop, and with that low frame, that low center of gravity, he's able to hit people and get leverage. Watch this run. First guy, missed, excuse me. Second guy, you got me up top. Don't tackle high. You can't do that, Mike. I told you. And now everybody has to go down towards his legs. That's the only way to slow him down. And look at the leg drive. great run by Maurice Drew.
Yeah, it helps when you can drag 3 guys along with you.
7 Jackrabbits touched him. Maurice Drew on the sideline for De La Salle, but he's still got the hat on, so I don't think he's done. 7.5 to play. Bates up the middle, short gain, but it was 2nd down and 2.
Yeah, do you care if you get a short gain here, or do you just want to pound this thing away? Do you want to put it away? There's one thing that you've got to understand with the Spartans. I think they know how to put people away. I think they understand how to protect the football late in games, how to utilize the clock. I think they've thought all this stuff out to the nth degree. And in our conversations yesterday with Bob Ladouceur, it's like he's so professorial about it. You know, I mean, the guy knows football as well as anybody I've ever talked to.
Yeah,
you just sit there in awe of him.
Yeah, and he gives you the impression that he makes you want to underestimate him because he sort of downplays how good these guys are. This is a great football team, and he, although he knows it, he really doesn't give that impression.
Cecil. Bob Ladouceur. You look at the numbers. Mike, it was funny when I said he has won 95% of his games, highest winning percentage in high school football history. Anybody in the country. I remember what you said to me. He said, anybody on the planet.
Anybody in this solar system, he's got it. He's got more undefeated seasons than he's got losses. Yeah. He's got many more championships than he's got losses. I mean, that is amazing. It's almost more amazing the lack of loss, or it's more amazing the lack of losses as compared to how many games they've won.
2nd and 7, Maurice Drew to the corner. Maurice Drew across midfield and finally run out at about the 42-yard line.
Yeah, Mike, you talk about those undefeated seasons. 16, to be exact, undefeated seasons, and 10 of them in a row.
In 1979, De La Salle ran an ad in the paper and said, wanted football coach. Bob Ladouceur answered that ad. At that point, De La Salle had never even had a winning season in 10 years since the school had opened.
See, Jim, it pays to advertise.
I knew you'd get off the line of the day. I knew you would.
Wanted. Coach who won't lose football games.
129 straight. And Bob Ladouceur, 265 victories against 14 losses. 265 and 14. Pretty good.
It's just amazing when you talked about their field, their home field. Not especially impressive. Anything that you see around that school, it's just like, oh, okay. And you just don't expect that. And to me, that's probably the beauty of the whole thing, that they haven't turned it into some sort of a shrine to a coach or to a team.
There's only been one guy that's been there through the whole thing, and you're looking at him right there. So when you talk about this program, that is a direct reflection of that guy right there in the Ray-Bans. Cecil. Pretty good fake. Parrish misses. Inside the 30. You know, we were talking about the 129 games. That's just since they lost a football game. But De La Salle has put together a lot of big numbers. Not all perfect, but most of them pretty close. They had a 44-game streak in the mid-'80s. 34 games later, and now they're at 129. So you're looking at 162 out of the last 163, and then this number is mind-boggling. De La Salle has won 206 out of their last 208 football games.
Is that good?
But how about the team in 1988 to 91? They probably thought they were good. 34 wins, that's nothing these days with this team.
National record, 10 straight undefeated seasons. They'll move to 5-0 today. They only have 5 losses since 1984, and of those 5 losses, 4 of them were by a total of 5 points. And this is not a guy who's a raving, screaming football coach. He's a teacher. He teaches religion and ethics. He's respected. He's well-liked on campus. And the kids who take his classes say he's a pretty good teacher as well.
He's like the anti-coach. You know what I'm saying? There's matter and antimatter, and he just seems like he's the opposite of everything that you've ever thought of as far as a stereotypical football coach. And he's so confident the way he talks. And now, I'm not going to say it's on autopilot, but we talked to him about this yesterday. His players kind of coach the other players. They're kind of taking care of each other and showing technique and how to act.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Mike. And he said that's when he knows that his program is going in the right direction, when he has players.
False start, offense. 5-yard penalty.
You know, it hasn't been just Bob Laudiseur. That guy right there, Terry Edson from De La Salle, who's the defensive coordinator and does just about everything else on campus. And, you know, he deserves a lot of this credit. He got there about 3 years after Bob. And it's funny when you go to practice, it's not so much Laudiseur that's running things, but Edson's out there really talking to the guys, and then Laudiseur will step in and do his thing.
Well, he does a lot of work. You know, he talked yesterday about, well, he had to go fly to Hawaii to make the arrangements, which is not a bad thing. You know, but he's got to do all these things and schedule these games. There's a lot to what has happened here, and Terry's done a bunch of it.
And Terry's been a real good guy to us, really helping us set these games up, making them happen. Penalty flag is Drew, again, dragging Jackrabbits to the 20-yard line. It's a hold against De La Salle. But without Terry Edson, I don't think these games come off. And, you know, you give some credit to De La Salle for, you know, they knew people were talking about them saying, you don't play anybody, there's no competition in Northern California. And if you're watching across the country, the state of California does not have a high school state championship playoff system. It's just too big. You're talking about 500-plus schools.
Holding the offense, 10-yard penalty. First down.
And so De La Salle went out, they sought out competition. You know, they went and played St. Louis in Hawaii this year. St. Louis High School of Honolulu, who is a nationally ranked program. The last 2 years they played De La Salle. And of course, played Long Beach Poly. And before that, they were playing and beating modern day, the best of Southern California.
Yeah, they have really made a statement that way, Jim, in traveling to all these places. We talked about the trip to Hawaii. That's the first time that they've gone out of the state of California, but they're challenging they're taking on all takers all across the state. It doesn't matter. They'll take on the best of the best, and they sign them up every year, play them in the preseason, and as long as you give us a good date that we have open, we'll take it. So that's what he's done. Now next year they won't play because Terry Edson said he didn't want to travel down to Southern California 2 weeks in a row. They play San Diego, and of course they couldn't afford to go 2 weeks in a row to play Poly, so that's why this series is on hold for 2 years.
Yeah, they're going to play La Costa Canyon of San Diego again next year. This is the second longest streak in the country right now. Salina High School in Texas at 63, which you'd think would be pretty impressive, but it's not even half of what De La Salle has.
Well, it just shows you how ridiculous that number is.
And now for the rest of the year, if you look, you know, De La Salle's probably going to run the table again and win the Northern California Championship again. You never know. Here's Jackie Bates.
Look, there's the old counter tray, the De La Salle counter tray that they run a lot of, and it's just one of their plays that they work on. They've got a veer, and they've got a veer option, and they've got a counter tray, and those are really what they do well, and that's what's so basic about this offense.
But
not trying to do too many things.
But the one thing that isn't basic is as hard as they hit the holes. All the running backs, they explode into the holes. I mean, they're moving at top speed when they hit the hole, and that's how you want to run plays. You want to run them crisp because the holes are spaced. The hole's only there for a second or two, and if you're a running back, you have to get through. They hit the holes 100 miles an hour.
Drew, nothing inside, go outside. Oh, come on.
The only guy that's been able to stop him has been the sideline, okay? With any regularity. And you just can't say enough about this guy and his work ethic. Yeah, he's a very talented guy, but he works so hard. You're right, Jim. Nothing inside. I'm just going to pop it out. And usually when guys bend it around like that, lose yardage, they run into trouble. But this guy, you know, turns it up. You know, when you tackle him, he's probably just going to run you over.
Yeah. Mike, you look at him. Sorry, JJ. He's 5'7", 193. This guy can play college football.
Oh, there's no question about it.
Well, people are going to look at his size. You know, right
I
away.
don't care if he's 1'9", okay? That guy can play anywhere, anytime.
Fourth down. He pitched back to Bates. Bates with a dance move. That was the tush push. First down. Oh, man. You know, Long Beach Poly is a great football team. Oh, there's a gap between these two right now.
Oh, Jim. I don't even know how to put this in perspective. It's 4th and 10, and you're stuck dead in your tracks behind the line of scrimmage.
Whoops, bad play.
Excuse me, and now I'm gone. That is, look, unbelievable.
Those guys that scare me the most as running backs are the quick guys. And Jim, when we were looking at films this week, you go, who does he remind you of? And, you know, it's kind of obvious to say Barry Sanders because he's quick like that. Deontay Whitaker, another guy that he really reminded me of because of the quickness. But I think he's stronger than those guys. And, you know, if you can say that about Barry Sanders, his potential is like that. I'm not saying he's that good, but he's got potential like that.
Here's Drew. Drew hasn't gotten in the end zone today. That's about the only thing he hasn't done. And he wanted it. Now he was limping on that right ankle a little bit. He had a left ankle sprain early in the season. They say he's 100% now. But he got dinged on that play.
We're talking with him after practice yesterday about, what he does, and he was talking about he's working with one of the coach's sons. And he's trying to be like Maurice, and he says that he is just wearing out the other Pee-wee kids. The kid ran for 6 touchdowns, the guy that he's coaching, and it goes back to the point. He obviously knows how to play the game and can convey that to other players.
He's a real nice young man. We've had a chance to talk with him both this year and last year. Well-spoken. And, it's funny because people will see him in college and say, wow, I saw this guy in college as a freshman. He could be pretty good. And, if you're watching this game, you can say, well, I saw him in high school and he was great then. And that's why we do these high school games.
Now, he's a guy, you go back to the point, well, people are going to look at his size and say, oh, can he play in college? Let's not be ridiculous. This guy not only can play in college, but I think that he's got the skills that translate to college. And it doesn't matter how tall or short you are. It's just, the guy's a football player. He's hard to tackle, and he's going to be in college as well.
17 for 163 for Maurice Drew, 163 yards, 17 carries. Cecil's going to take a knee. And you wonder, with a minute left, this is sportsmanship by De La Salle, not wanting to pour it on. But if you're Long Beach Poly, they're taking a knee on you at 28-7.
Yeah, this is a class move, though, by Bob Ladouceur. This is number 1 versus number 2 in the country, and yeah, you want to run up the score. It makes it look all the better if you win 35-7, but this is really a class move. You see Terry Edson, obviously a lot of relief. Needs to work on his dance moves a little bit, but other than that, it's really a class move, though, by Bob Ladouceur taking a knee here.
It's a mercy move, and I agree with it for Bob Ladouceur. For Long Beach Poly, they came up here in mind to win this football game, and De La Salle's just running out the clock on them.
Well, it didn't work out that way, did it?
No, it didn't.
And not to degrade the program, because it's a great program with great kids and a lot more to offer as a school than just football.
And Poly very well could go back to Southern California, beat everybody, and win the Division I championship just like they did last year. That is it. Clock will run out. And once again, Long Beach Poly has been turned back by the machine of De La Salle. 28-7, your final score. And Britt Cecil is now one of the greats at De La Salle.
Yeah, Bob Ladouceur did a great job with this team. They played an outstanding game. They were the better team today.
Yeah, but it comes back to what we thought. Maurice Drew, good? Yeah, Maurice Drew, maybe great.
Maurice Drew, 163 yards on the ground, and Britt Cecil was unbelievable. 3 touchdown passes. That's going to do it for us for our entire Game of the Week crew. I'm Jim Watson, saying so long from Memorial Stadium, where tonight the final score, De La Salle 28, Long Beach Poly 7. Tune in Thursday when Taft takes on Chatsworth, 7 o'clock live on Fox Sports Net 2. One more time, your final score, De La Salle 28, Long Beach Poly 7. The streak survives. It's 130 straight and counting.
This is the life. No running, no stress, no people.
For the next 30 days.